Superhumans! Once pure fiction, they became reality the day a god perished in our skies, bringing power to a lucky few and terror to the rest. Those masses are now looking for hope, and I want to provide it. My name is Network, here to prove that you do have protectors during these unprecedented times. What better way to do so than with live footage? Our camera drones capture all the action so you can see our new superheroes fighting the good fight in real time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to Power Play.
Thrusters engaged.
Well, this is certainly going to take some getting used to. Oh well, I'll adapt, I always do. Some people might even consider this an upgrade once I figure out the hang of it. For now, though, most resources burned to the ground, maybe got enough left in me for one broadcast, as my body is in the underworld, however that works. What's that quote about doing it live? This time, fuck it. We'll do it dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final episode of Power Play, episode 10, Kill the Lights, the thing that everything has been building towards. Now, as you in the audience will know from episode 9, us taunting you mostly, it has not been a very long time for us. It has not been a week like it has been for you guys. We got to the cliffhanger of episode 9 less than 24 hours ago, but still, I will pose the question to everybody here. How are you all feeling going into the finale?
I'm excited.
Wired?
I'm excited.
There are many ways it could go,
Right.
so I'm interested.
Nothing spooky or scary or bad has ever happened to Goo Girl, and I'm going to be fine this episode too.
Hey, yeah, there's good things that are in the works too. It's not all horrible, terrible stuff. Nicole has superpowers now. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, and I got a hug in.
Yeah. And
You
we don't know what
did.
the professor can do. Like, maybe the professor
That's also
has
something.
special make nightmare go away powers. Who knows?
Yeah, her powers. I mean, she's been using technology stuff this whole time, but actually her powers are psychic resistance, and she was just doing all
Yeah.
that as a red herring.
Super therapy. Like, just like get everyone totally on equal footing with all their fears.
Yeah.
Wow,
Just an
big
inverse
move
ghost,
as
like,
Professor
pop
not
out.
to use that with Ring Bear. Professor's like, I've got super therapy powers, but not for you, Danny.
See, now we have to stop, because now we're getting into a kind of interesting idea. Because I'm like, oh man, a villain who has like therapy powers could be kind of cool. That's also the plot of like several different Moon Knight books. So it is very much something that you could expect from me, but that's probably not where we're going to go today. Now, we're going to pick up like we did yesterday, right where we left off. The last thing that you guys have seen in the aftermath of Storm Chaser and this conflict with Network, where he's maybe kind of sort of possibly a bit dead, was Mason tranquilized and drugged and with all sorts of stuff coursing through his bloodstream, jolting and twitching like someone having a night terror as he floated up into the sky, causing all of these glowing, haunting lights to start cascading down over the people of Seattle. Go. I'm not even going to give you guys a lot of setup. Crisis mode is still actively in play here. Go.
Are there are there anti-sedatives? Should we go to a drugstore? Pharmacy?
Like, get him hopped up.
Yeah.
That cannot be a good idea.
No. Also, Danny is in this conversation. The benefit of doing this the day after. I remember I said it was climbing a building.
Yes,
So if I
Oh,
get
yeah.
to a point,
You were climbing a building.
I think Danny's the closest to Ghostlight.
Yes, not particularly close. Because I should say, the way it
I'm
was
over the
described was
car.
he like, after being drugged, he sort of toppled off the building like Nikki did, but he didn't actually fall. He like went a foot or two down and then transformed and started floating. So you can
Okay.
climb up there, but he is still like above the building and rising at this stage.
And are we seeing thousands of ghastly images rain down upon downtown Seattle?
Not yet, necessarily. I believe the last thing that I said in the transition to the cliffhanger was you are seeing these lights descend from like a sort of massive one in the sky and hearing people starting to scream from streets down. Now, I'll admit, that was largely for dramatic cliffhanger effect. It's not like instantaneously after this happens, everybody's going to be in these horrible nightmares, right? But yes, things are starting to happen. Network's goons, for what it's worth, the ones who were on the roof, very quickly ducked out of sight behind the like the ledge of the building. They might still be up there. They might be running for their lives. You're not sure at the moment, but you can no longer see them. We will start with Danny, though. Given that Danny is up there, are you still trying to climb up there best you can?
Yeah, and once she gets to the roof, I'm gonna launch my gambit in this quickly. That probably won't work, but
Yeah.
I want to ask Wonderland for a car.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Wonderland is there, on the ground with everybody. See, here's the thing. She'll do it. I'm just trying to think of the logistics, because like her doing it is she's gonna reach into a pocket, pull out, I mean, something tiny in her hand, and she's gonna throw it. That's really all she's got. And then it's gonna grow to full car size, sort of as it's arcing through the air, which maybe that's what you wanted, but now there is a
Once she-
full-size car just sort of arcing up towards the roof.
Well, once she throws it, does that trigger it to grow?
It is growing mid-air. Yeah, the way her powers work technically is the longer she holds on to something, the longer she can maintain it. I'm saying whether it's a function of her powers or not, it is growing mid-air as she throws it. Whether you didn't ask her specifically, you just said car, and so she threw one.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about. I think that fits her personality to just be like, here.
Letting that crash into the roof and getting to a safer point. Could I get a small one?
Oh. Yeah. That makes more. You're gonna have to catch it. It's like Hot Wheels size, and then she chunks another one at you. You're able
Try
to
to
catch.
catch.
Do you want it
I
to
don't
grow
know.
now? You should put it down first.
Grow it when I throw it, please. And I'm gonna throw it
Oh!
at Mason.
Yeah. Okay.
Ah,
You throw this car.
hit him with a car.
Yeah, at Mason. This time it grows mid-flight again. But as you can kind of expect, similar to what happened last time, his body is going to, with another twitching, jerking motion, just full sort of exorcist snap around, and one of the lights is going to spin out from behind him, turn into a giant hand like it did last time, and catch it. But this time, rather than dropping it or holding it, it just crushes the car entirely and drops this chunk of metal to the ground, slamming into the ground next to everybody else.
Heads up for the team. I'm out of ideas.
And you should probably try to not be on the roof anymore, because you are now the first person to attract Ghostlight's attention. And if you look up at the sort of cloud of lights that is above you, there are some starting to separate and descend towards you.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna clamber down. Using the car that just crashed into the roof, I would like to gain entry to the building. Not in the car, but through a hole made by the car.
Sure. All right. So there's a car sticking out of the side of this building. You like open the door, get in the back seat, crawl through the front seat, open the front door, and then pop out inside the building. Perfect. Yeah, you can slip inside the building there. Back on the ground as that is happening, Nikki, looking around kind of frantically, still trying to figure out exactly what the hell is going on now that she suddenly has superpowers. Like, before, anybody can really interact. She starts jumping around a little bit, making these little portals. You can kind of see she's getting the sense, testing out exactly how her powers work. And then she makes a slightly longer jump and just shouts back to everybody, okay, I will be right back. And then she vanishes. Like she just sort of went into a door that doesn't exist. You just see her like run and her body just kind of whoop, gone.
Oh, she has the power to excitedly leave a situation more so than she already did frequently without telling anyone where she was going. This is perfect for her.
She's canonically always late to things. She has to go do something else and she'll show up in a bit.
This is just like her. This is
Okay.
Oh, this is the worst power for her to get. Living with her is going to be probably as bad as living with me is for her. Let's go. That's my best friend. Hell yeah.
All right.
Go get drugs. Operation Upper.
Tom, again, for the record, I believe we said this a second ago, but I don't remember if we had started recording yet. Tom, currently you are still in the Shadow Realm. We are probably getting about to the time when your sort of thing is done. Obviously, I'm going to save it for dramatic effect, right? This is magic. You're going to reappear when it is most fitting for you to do so narratively, and that's a canon thing. It's not even plot devices. When that happens, I know there's like another little scene you want to do, so we'll do that and then have you transition in. But just for the record, you are currently still in the Shadow Realm. You have no knowledge of what is going on outside. But yeah.
Certainly not yet.
Yeah, certainly not yet. Everybody else, the crisis is still ongoing, right? You can see more of these lights are descending. You can see more and more little golden specks flying through as Network tries to get as much footage of this as he can for later research. What's the plan?
You move him.
I shout to the Professor Quinto, and I go, I don't know what good it'll do, but we might as well jam his signal.
Yeah, she nods. Yeah, she nods, goes, yes, I'll make that happen. Best I can.
I don't got nothing unless someone's dying. Is anybody dying?
Like I said, you can hear stuff that is going on in other parts of the city, right? But
other parts of the city. I don't necessarily want to leave the zone 0 of this event, though.
Well, we'll see if Ghostlight moves. Right now, he's kind of still looking towards the ceiling where Ring Bear went, trying to find what that threat was, but that does seem to have occupied him for a second.
Ghostlight moving is the strategy. Because Mason's our friend. We don't want to kill him, right? The easiest thing is to shut him down. Waking up is going to be hard because nobody wants to give him drugs. We move him. We get him to chase us or follow us, and we get him out over the bay to that island or wherever where he can sleep off whatever this drug cocktail is without hurting anyone.
How big does his radius of influence seem to be?
Right now, it's a little bit hard to tell because my intent for this scene is it to be a very ethereal, spooky kind of parallel to the Storm Chaser thing, right? When Storm Chaser was fighting a couple hours ago, there was a dark cloud that is over the city. Now there is a cloud of light that is over the city. From your perspective on the ground, you are in the center of a bunch of buildings. It is everywhere that you can see, but that's not a huge range right now, right? Maybe, Ring Bear's inside the building. If you can get somebody onto a roof where they're not in immediate danger and they can take some time to look, you can maybe figure that out.
I just worry his radius might be... I'll say this to Google. I don't know. He seems to have a wider range than normal. He might be covering all of Seattle.
Okay, that's a problem.
We'd have to get on the roof to find out, though. I can't see it through these buildings.
I wish Tom were here.
Where the fuck is Tom?
Yeah, nobody knows. Only Danny has some rough idea, and Danny's currently, I imagine, coming down the building.
Yeah. A lot of stairs.
Yeah.
A lot of closets. Getting very lost.
Let's get up there.
Also have a question for Matt.
Yes.
Team points.
Ah, yes, you're right. I kind of, in my brain, I didn't register this as a separate encounter, but yes, this would definitely count as a separate encounter. So sure, thank you for reminding me about that. Let's go through and calculate those. I believe you should be mostly full. I think you're going to lose one here, but
4, right? Yeah.
leader still TBD. I'll kind of put that in the group's hands here. All right, I saw Jess nod, and Google's the only one that's actively present, so leader can be TBD.
Cool.
So you start with 2. Leader has influence over every teammate. I think that's still the case.
Yeah.
So 3. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, technically Tom is not currently present, but if he was, I imagine it would be the same sort of purpose. So sure, that goes up to 4. If any team member mistrusts the leader of the team, don't think so. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that down. Yes, you're still at 4. Ill-prepared or off-balance, I do think yes. This is not something that was immediately expected, so you are at 3, though I should note, because this is something that could matter here, a mechanic that has been an option but we haven't used. A leader of the team can mark a condition to avoid removing a team point from the pool. So if you would like TBD, if you want to go in with 4, you can mark a condition and buff the team up for that.
Oh, a deal.
A devil's bargain.
A devil's bargain, you say? You know what? I don't actually think we utilize team points often enough for one more to make the difference. I'm gonna say that, and somebody's gonna be one away from.
It's your choice.
Chekhov's deal rejection.
Chekhov's deal rejection. Okay.
Fuck. Sorry, I'm scared. We can edit this long think out.
No.
No, don't do this to me.
Not now. If you acknowledge it, we're gonna leave it in. It's the beginning of the episode. We're like 10 minutes in. We can leave some moments here. We're not
I just
at
don't know
the
what
climax of the action.
Character-wise, I don't know what condition I would mark.
Yeah, if there's not, you don't have to.
And so I don't think I would, despite wanting to have that extra point. He's not afraid.
You can gain them. There's ways that you can gain them.
Yeah, like if I comfort or support someone in the middle of combat, we'll gain a team point, and that's in my repertoire. So I'm not worried. I'm not going to take a condition. I'm already tired. That's not a condition I can take. So I need to be in top form for this combat. So 3 it is.
3 it is. All right. 3 team
I
points
better not
going into the
fucking
fight. Back to you. That was something Nathan prompted. So yeah. What are you guys doing? You're on the ground. Ghostlight is, like I said, still looking at the roof. Will probably start moving again once he's analyzed that to his satisfaction. Well, consciously or
It's funny,
unconsciously.
Ringbird's coming down. I do think we need to go up.
And I'm just gonna say, goo elevator going up and grab TBD and just launch us both up. most sudden and just.
All right, guys, I finally made it down. Where the fuck?
Okay, important question. And since this has already been stated, I'm going to sort of make you address it honestly, though I think this is the case. You guys are going actively onto the roof that Ghostlight is like looking at. You're not going onto like a nearby one.
I don't think Goo Girl thought long enough to realize that's a bad idea.
Okay,
if I'm
cool.
being completely honest with you, my thought was up the nearest building, which is definitely the one.
That is
I would love to
immediately in
say
front of you.
that we were smart and thought that through, but I didn't consider it until you said something, so...
Got it. And you did say that you just kind of grabbed TBD and yanked him along. So you guys, once again, I'll sort of describe this in an animated sort of context because I do think it makes sense. You launch yourself up. You're able to land pretty nimbly. At this point, you're kind of getting used to doing this little launch, so I'm not going to make you do a roll for it or anything. You land, you get your nice little moment, and then the shot sort of tilts a little bit to reveal that like 20 feet up, Ghostlight is hovering there, still jittering and just staring directly at you.
Oh.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly that.
Mason, wake up, buddy.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it, unfortunately.
Mason!
You see some of the lights start to descend from the clouds above like they did with Ring Bear.
Tract, will you figure out what's going on?
Sure.
All right. Goo Girl is gonna fucking like jump off the side of the building looking all cool, finger gun shooting goo at Mason, because it's not going to harm him, but it'll look harmful and get his attention. And just try to not have TBD die as a result of my actions.
Okay, so you
or goo 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 goo.
you're going back down.
Yes.
Okay,
But
cool.
I'm getting his attention.
Question for my note. When you are jumping off the building, are you jumping back off in the direction where the rest of the group is, though they're probably going to start scattering in a second? Or are you jumping off another side somewhere separate? Like, are you trying to pull his attention away? Or
Off a side somewhere separate so I can get a running start to make my dumping dive look even cooler.
off the side somewhere separate. In that case, as you do that, I'm going to have you take a powerful blow.
Yeah, that's fair.
Great. You don't suppose I could try to defend her?
Yeah,
In
me
this
too.
case,
That's a 3.
Okay,
Actually, sorry,
yeah,
that's a 5 because I
I know
have 2
she's jumping-
conditions.
Off the building.
Yeah, no, defend. Throw a team point in there, add one. Actually, wouldn't even change anything. Yeah, okay, you are fine in this case. You jump off, fire some little goo pellets. Like, they kind of, they get blocked by little lights that fly in front, but Mason does not actually follow you. Some of the lights follow you, but in a sense, your mission is successful because as those lights start following you, he starts rising again. He is not immediately going after TBD. So at the very least, TBD does not seem to be in immediate danger from this. Now, real quick, let's cut back to Ring Bear. You get back down. You get out. Only at the moment, Wonderland and the Professor are there. Everyone else has scattered to various other areas.
Oh, come the fuck on.
I don't know. Goo Girl and TBD, they went up there. I
was just...
I don't know what they were doing.
All right, Wonderland, what else do you have? What else are you packing with you? Any secret weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Like?
I got a lot of stuff. I got to raid a whole superhero base. I have so much stuff. But, like, what am I gonna do? Are we shooting the guy? Because I don't think he's out of my range. But there's also, like, people screaming everywhere. Should we go look at that? Like, what are we... Believe me, I got some fun shit.
All right, I don't think we can... I have no range, and if he's out of your range, then we're pretty screwed.
I got range, but not, like, skyscraper range.
Then let's see what we can do for the people.
Okay. The Professor, for her part, kind of just says, like, I'll, go back to the van and see what I can do about jamming any sort of signals, I suppose. And then, barring any
I don't want to
protest-
sound... I don't want to sound ungrateful. Do you have anything unrelated to signals? It feels like this isn't really a signal thing at the moment.
I have some possible options, but it will take me a moment to gather myself and figure out what the best course of action is.
Okay, cool. Not gonna investigate or interrogate that. Just you do your thing.
She nods, kind of with the acknowledgement of, like, yeah, I can tell that you're getting a little bit suspicious, but not the time, and rushes off.
I forgot to ask, but I would like to assess the situation on the top of this building to see how far.
Yeah, we were going to cut back up to you anyway, because Ring Bear getting down was, like, as you guys were going up, so now everyone's entirely split up right now, so we're bouncing around until everybody has their plans sort of set in stone, and then we'll get to more cohesive stuff. But yes, go ahead and make me an assess the situation up there.
Situation is superior, which I have a -1, 2. That is an 8.
An 8. Yeah, that's a success. Pick your question. As usual, slight modifications are perfectly allowed.
Yeah. So I'm going for what here is in the greatest danger, flavored to what here is in range of ghost slice attacks.
Yeah, I will absolutely allow that. So, the cloud of light that is amassing over the city, it is big, right? It is a very large and growing mass. If it does not cover this entire city right now, in fact, it doesn't cover the entire city right now, but it is still growing. I will say this is probably unsurprising, but since we don't have visuals, I'll say it anyway for the sake of getting it out there. It's not like he's covering Seattle. It is centralized on him and growing. And since you are in the middle of Seattle, that is expanding outwards. But whatever sort of nightmare he is in is having a very large effect on stuff as a whole. So basically, yeah, it is everything right now and expanding.
It is expanding. Do I get any kind of gauge? Like, is it still contained in these few groups of skyscrapers? Is this thing like already miles wide?
Yeah, it is a couple city blocks right now, and it is still growing. With the other, if you're specifically assessing this, I will give you another piece of information. There are two things that are moving right now. This isn't really new information, but just stating it. The cloud is growing, and Mason is floating up towards it. Those are the two. Those are the two things. It does look like he is like. It doesn't look coincidental. It looks like he is going towards this cloud. You know.
Okay, I don't know if I can ask this. You can shut me down. But is this a cloud that is glowing because of his powers, or is this glowing cloud a part of his powers?
Part of his powers. Yeah, I'm phrasing it as a glowing cloud. It's a weird sort of mass of these spectral lights that he is advancing.
Got it. So this is not just a regular cloud. That's being lit
cloud
up.
is shorthand. Cloud is shorthand for the glowing mass.
It's a freaky spectral cloud. Okay, and he's
I'll use the phrase spectral cloud intentionally from here out just to make that clear.
Got it. Okay. I text that to the group chat.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
in some sort of shorthand. Maybe we should do a group FaceTime. I could put an AirPod in or something so we can talk to each other.
Ooh, I would answer that. Throws an AirPod in.
Throws an AirPod in. All right, so this shit's getting pretty wide, gang. It's about a few blocks wide, that freaky spectral ghost cloud, and it's only getting bigger.
Just for my sake, who all's in this FaceTime? Obviously not Tom. Tom's in
I
Shadowland.
did it in the Turd group chat, so whoever picks up.
Okay, so Danny, are you picking up on this?
I'll pick up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So in this chat we have TBD, we have Goo Girl, we have Ring Bear, and then a fourth caller shows up in this as the face of network. Also immediately jumps into your FaceTime because of course he was going to.
Fucking freeloader.
Yeah, quite a day out there. Lovely weather we're having, isn't it?
Okay, ignore him. Turn the camera around. So he's floating. Mason is floating up into the spectral cloud right now. Don't know what that does. I don't know if we should let him get up there, but I also don't know how to stop him. And the cloud is growing.
Well, it's not like he really has a plan, so the higher up he is, the further he is from the city.
I agree.
True.
Try that.
Okay, so that means
Okay,
that's
never
bad.
mind.
That
Yeah.
means that's sad.
Or maybe it's
Gonna
reverse
turn the
psychology.
volume down all the way
At this
on
point,
him.
I have nothing to hide. I'm just really enjoying the game.
Okay, I was really enjoying this group call idea, but now that he's here, I'm kind of over it.
Communications networks are going to be very fun for a while, I think.
Oh, this is like I do enjoy the fact that network has been relegated to like minor internet troll status after this. That's making me feel good. I'm just saying that in front of network, like not addressing him directly.
Oh yeah. If you're saying that in the call, even though he does have his mask on in this form, his face is not visible. You can tell like he is pissed, right? Right now he's relishing the fact that he is fucking with you all by sort of blowing up everyone, right? But he is pissed at you guys specifically because you did kind of fuck up a bunch of his plans.
Yeah. No, I mean it makes sense. It's like network, J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, just pathetic like internet voices that are completely impotent and don't do anything. This is a win.
Yeah, I can deal with this.
Yeah, I've been dealing with this.
Yeah, so what are you guys doing? By the way, you left me up on the building.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to make sure the lights didn't hit you because I put you in harm's way. They are chasing me now. Are they still chasing me, the lights, Matthew?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to get to the aftermath of that in a second.
Oh, also, I don't know if you want me to roll for this. Are these, you're describing them as like, you've described them as like golden orbs?
I'm sorry. There are two things that are flying around in the distance.
Oh.
There are the glowing lights, and then there are the golden drones. When I said said golden specks, the intent of that was there's a glint of a drone off flying around the building.
I didn't know if that was something new.
No, well, yeah, it's there are two factors in play here, and it's the drones and the lights all swirling around, causing chaos and shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not much use up here.
Get on
Or
the
my lightning rod.
I'm with Wonderland trying to help people. I don't know.
Like
Can we turn around? I feel like this isn't a time to turn around.
Are you trying to turn around and go pick up TBD, you mean?
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's been enough time. We can actually have a nice little moment here. Is Nicole in this call specifically?
If she picked up.
Okay, yeah. Then if Nicole is in this call, she's going to join as well. And you see just a very brief, like, shaky camera of her being like, okay, I have no idea if I'm going to get signal in whatever kind of space I travel to. Taylor, are you on the same roof?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. And then the call cuts out.
All right, actually, don't come get me. I'll be okay.
Call's cut out.
All right, then.
Are the rest of us on the call?
And then after a second, if you're all waiting for that, Taylor, on the roof, you hear a very weird noise behind you and turn around to see Nicole.
Oh! Oh, shit! What the fuck?
When?
She's got a suit. So
When did she find the time?
out of literally nowhere, she kind of crashes in this suit, and she kind of looks around and goes, "Yeah, sorry, you haven't seen this yet. I kind of figured, like, I've seen enough superhero stuff with Rebecca that I kind of figured it was, like, not impossible that I was gonna get powers, so I just sort of, like, I kind of made a suit that would work for, like, whatever, and then I got some of Rebecca's paint stuff, and I just, like, spray painted some final details, like a second ago. Yeah, what do you think?"
Can I kiss you?
She kind of, like, looks around at the, like, ghost shit that's going on. It's like, yes, but it gotta be quick, I think.
I would be too awkward for it to make it long. I give a kiss. I go, I've had a crush on you forever. I'm sorry, I'm a coward. We gotta deal with the rest of this.
And in the ethereal glow of these weird lights above with all the chaos going around, Taylor and Nicole finally get to share their moment, both in their suits, with Nicole now having her powers as well, and it's very nice, very wholesome. All the sounds kind of dim of everything around, and no screaming in the background of your kiss moment.
When we figure this shit out, I'll take you on a date. I don't got much money, but it's the thought that counts.
And then she kind of just nods and goes, okay, let's get off the roof now.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of, like, puts her arm around you and just sort of, like, falls forward almost. And both of you end up in a very weird little space. It's almost like a tunnel that you are falling through, right? It's not like a stable little transport. You essentially just fall forward and end up in this tunnel, kind of like a weird cosmic water slide is the best way that I can describe it, that you guys are just tumbling through.
Rad as hell.
She seems weirdly okay with this. It seems she got used to this pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nikki, you really got a hang of this really fast.
She's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of adrenaline hitting, and then once we get to process what's actually going on, I'm going to absolutely freak the fuck out. But, I mean, you know what Rebecca's like, and I've been living with her for even before superhero stuff happened. This is something we talked about.
I guess. Is this what happens when you don't skip physics? You just kind of get it? You just get things?
Yeah. This does take some time for what it's worth. This is not like instant teleportation. She's basically making like a little direct sort of shortcut through space.
Right.
But as you're tumbling through here, it's kind of quiet. There's like whooshing noises from air, but there's no combat sounds. But she points at the little letters that she's very quickly sort of spray painted onto this bodysuit. And she goes, oh, yeah, superhero names. I don't know if this is good, but I think no offense, I think I'm better at naming things than Rebecca is. So it's not like gender fluid or anything, but you know, I like cars a lot, so I was thinking about driving stuff, and I'm always late to things. And now I have like, I guess, shortcuts through places. So I was like, oh, I can call myself like Fast Lane. Is that cool? I think that's kind of cool.
That's sick as fuck. You are so much cooler than me.
She kind of like, she waves and she's like, oh no, I mean, you said I got the hang of this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not entirely sure when this is gonna come out.
Hey, I live every single day of my life not entirely sure how my powers are gonna work. I get it.
And during this transportation, with TBD going off the building, let's cut over to Ring Bear in Wonderland.
Oh, she's so cool.
Yeah, I've been sitting on this art so long. I've been sitting on this art for so long. I was like, oh yeah, I want her to get superpowers. I'll just have this on the back burner.
That's sick.
Yeah. But Ring Bear in Wonderland, you guys were going off to basically just, I'm assuming, whatever the sort of nearest source of the loudest screams was.
Pretty much.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff. Now, crossing around into the next city block, there's like a more open area. You can see that on the ground, a little bit farther away from Ground Zero, this is very much becoming an Avengers sort of superhero invasion situation for the general public, right? These things are starting to descend from the sky, and when they land relatively near to a person, wherever that person might be, just people who are panicking. And as they do that, they change form into something scary. There are all sorts of, like, there's some insectoid sort of glowing creatures. There are some things that look like zombies just running around, scaring the fuck out of people. Even if you, like, you'll have to do an assess a situation check if you want to get a read on exactly what's going on, but I'll say this before you make any sort of checks. Even if these things aren't like actively hurting people, even if this is just a we're trying to scare them situation, the amount of panic that is being caused by this is going to cause like collateral damage and put people at risk at this point. Mm-hmm. There are also things like going into windows and stuff. They are going into buildings, but anything further, you're going to have to make an assess the situation check for.
I will make that assess the situation check.
Cool.
No.
Oh boy.
That was a 6.
A 6. I don't think NPCs can team point, and even if, I don't think Wonderland is the team point for an assess a situation check type, so that's definitely not going to be the case. So yeah, that is the situation that you see in front of you. I'll give you one more piece of information as you're going in. Like I said, there are a lot of these golden drones that are swarming around as well. Anything that is the biggest and the flashiest is also actively getting filmed. If you would like to tune into somehow whatever network sort of signal is and kind of get a read on what he's doing, you can do that as well, but that's going to take time. Think of the end of the first Avengers movie. That's the scene that you're looking at. What are you doing?
Before I do anything, could you describe me one more time how these creatures are manifesting? Or how these figments of light are manifesting?
There is a large mass of them in the sky that Mason is drifting up towards, and they are sort of drifting downwards, kind of like lanterns. I've used that lantern analogy a couple times, but I like it. They're drifting downwards, and basically if they get close enough to a person, they drift towards that person, and as they do, they change. And then they turn into something monstrous in some form or another.
Mm-hmm.
Jess is smiling and laughing. What is this, Jess?
I just have a bad idea.
Oh, good. All right, we'll save that.
A bad idea is
Google's-
better than no idea. I'm currently thinking, man, this is a tall order. I don't know if we can.
Google's alone and she's got a bad idea, so there's
Love
no one
that.
there to stop her.
Don't worry, this is still very much first half hour. Everything is chaos before you guys get organized. I expected no plan at this stage, so don't worry.
I agree.
Is Google's idea related to this? Because if so, I'll let you play it out first. Because I have an idea, but the idea is punching them. So
Okay.
I mean,
To
you can
see
do
what
that.
happens.
You guys are separate at this point. You're streets away, so you can do things independently.
I think for scientific reasons, because if they can be dispelled, people will hopefully calm down. I want to see if punching them works.
All right. In your specific case, make me an Unleash Your Powers check. The reason I'm going to say that is I do think that Ring Bear's logic of power, like, it is, I believe, an official, kayfabe, that's the word? Kayfabe thing that,
Kayfabe,
like,
yeah.
wrestlers have fought the undead and shit, and, like, God occasionally. So punching ghosts seems to be in Ring Bear's repertoire in this sense, so I'm going to allow an Unleash Your Powers there.
Well, that was a 5.
A 5.
So I do not succeed.
No, you do not
Yay.
succeed. But I will give you something specific here. If you're just running to the nearest person, there's like an almost sort of Slenderman-esque thing, like a long, tall, gaunt creature that is advancing towards somebody. You run up and try to just like do a jump punch towards it. You do make contact with it. These are physical beings, but they don't seem particularly affected by it. However, the person that you just saved, because you did at least distract this thing, looks at you, Ring Bear, with kind of almost equal parts of fear, right? The person has as much of a reaction to you as the thing that you just punched. And you can make a check to sort of get specifics of that if you would like, but...
I have a theory, but I would like to check. Is this
Yeah.
a Pierce the Mask?
yeah, this would be a Pierce the Mask.
Okay, I need to roll well because I have the angry condition mark. And okay. And Pierce the Mask is Oh, mundane. Ah, that's -1 and a -2. I rolled a 7 on the die, so it's brought down to a 4.
Ah, well, you know what? I actually, narratively, I do kind of like that. This person is freaked out when looking at you. You're not really sure why. That's not necessarily the reaction that you were expecting, that somebody would be even more concerned when looking at you, but they definitely are, and they start to run away inside.
God damn it.
I assume that's a Mason thing.
That's a
Anyway.
network thing.
Gonna be
That
hard to
might have
tell.
been a Danny thing.
Now, take a powerful blow real quick.
Cool.
God damn, I was eating, dude.
Oh, well, now the rolls decide to be good. That's an 11.
An 11?
What's happening to Danny?
Well, as you watch this person start to run inside, that does take your attention away for a second from the many other monsters that are around here. However, I'm going to do something that, once again, DM is not technically supposed to do this in masks, I say for the benefit of the audience, but for my NPC superheroes, I think it's more fun. So before the effect of this happens, there we go. The defend someone check from Wonderland is going to be successful here.
Hey!
So you hear a sound from behind you as a massive bug-like creature made of this same glowing light sort of slams its giant like pincher claw into the street behind you and shrieks. And as you turn around to see that, as it raises its other claw to try and slam into you, it suddenly gets blindsided by a tank.
Oh,
Finally.
And you look over to see, on the one side, more of these monsters down the street, right? There's a lot of these things. But over in the direction that the tank came from, you see Wonderland. waving at you with one hand, manic smile on her face, as she shouts, "Remember how I said I had some things?
You got the tank?
Oh, I got more than that, motherfucker." And she pulls out a minigun. And as she whips this thing out, laughing insanely, she starts firing. And as she fires the bullets out of these miniguns, they strike these creatures as they're growing into full-size cars. So you look over to see Wonderland with a car minigun firing and cackling at these gigantic bug monsters that are ravaging the city.
That's my girl.
I gotta tell I gotta tell Google her Toku friend's crazy, but I don't think this is gonna be a turn off in any way.
I had the idea for this one for a while.
Please.
Perfect.
Well,
the perfect woman.
What a woman.
better start pulling my weight.
Yeah. I will
like,
say, for what it's worth, this is very much a collateral damage type of attack, right? There are full-size cars tumbling through the air, some of them striking the monsters, some of them missing and crashing into stuff. Wonderland, who, despite being a hero in this moment, did start as a villain, does not seem to be too bothered by the collateral damage that her throwing a shit ton of cars down this street is causing. So Ring Bear, if you want to go and try to pull people to safety out of the path of this, that would be an option.
Yeah, and while doing that, like, don't want to shit on your big moment, but you know there are people here, right?
Oh, she doesn't really give a shit. It's going to be very hard to hear you screaming over the car sounds and gun sounds. But make me a general defend someone check to get people out of the way of this very cool but very dangerous thing that's happening.
Beautiful.
Thank God. Okay, kept up the energy on the rolls. Defend someone check. I'm sure I don't have any minuses to that.
Now you're lucky because it is a -2 to another player character. It is specifically written as player character. It's not ally. So you are good. You don't have to take the extra minus in this case.
All right. And it's Savior, so that roll is a... that comes up to a 14.
Oh, 14?
What the fuck?
Okay,
I rolled 11, I got 3 Savior.
This is an opportunity. If you want to describe this, I'll fully leave it over to you with the 14. There's a car minigun going. There's people in the path of it. I'm sure you have some cool wrestling bullshit thing you can do to save people from that. Go nuts.
Do I, though?
Maybe. I don't know. It feels like there's an opportunity.
Irish whip everyone out of the city.
I know I'm not in the scene, but I feel like cars flying down the street, that falls under the kind of toon logic that wrestling logic works on. I think you can do just about anything with that.
Yeah.
You know what? This isn't gonna be even be a wrestling thing, but if you're giving me cartoon logic, I'm gonna give you cartoon logic.
You got a 14.
Danny,
have fun.
Danny, like, fully hands touching the ground, coils her body, leaps up in the air, and does a volleyball set to get the car cleared of the group of people.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's cool as hell, so I'll even give you a like bonus thing for it. You do that, and as you do that, a sort of flying spectral creature flies into the path of it, so you spike this thing up and it hits another one of the ghost-like creatures in its arcing path. The people that you did just save, once again, look at you. Make me another Pierce the Mask check for this. And we've got to set that precedent. We'll do this again. Danny's got a little arc going here with this, so...
The dice do not love Pierce the Mask checks. That's a 5.
Yeah, okay. Once again, these people they don't seem particularly comforted by your presence in one way or another. With the 5, that's all you're going to get. They do, like one of them thanks you as they run off. They're not, like, scared for their lives. But this is not the reaction that you have been getting from the public, right? Like, for the past 2 months, every time you guys go out and do superhero shit, everyone's like, oh my god, this is the coolest fucking thing. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Ooh.
Oh, there could be a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah, there could be many a reason, and you keep failing your Pierce the Mask checks.
Well, Danny's not in a state for self-reflection. And I do feel that it would be a self-reflected reason that these people might be scared if it's Danny specifically. Yeah. Well, we saved them from the car.
You did save them from the cars. Eventually, as most of the monsters seem to leave the direct line of fire, you hear Wonderland's minigun kind of spin down. And she shouts over and he goes, "Fucking cool, right?"
Not really.
Fuck you, it
terms
was.
of danger. Okay, it's cool conceptually, but fucking hell, you are not responsible at this.
She comes running up to you. She sort of slides the minigun behind it. It shrinks and vanishes into one of her pockets. She goes, "Yeah, we got the monsters and you're here to save people with the cool shit that you can do. So I'll balance out. You're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Let's keep going. I like this. This is fun."
Today will kill me one way or another.
And you guys run off to keep doing crowd control of these monsters. Guguro, you said you had a plan. Let's see what that plan is.
Yeah. So these lights, when they got towards me, kept coming towards me. When they get near people, they go towards people. So if we want to protect people as a team, then obviously the thing that we should be doing is getting near as many lights as possible before they can get near people. And what better way to do that than to slingshot myself into the cloud and be as wide as possible to try to get as many lights as possible, so that way they're not coming down on people and people aren't panicking.
I feel like Google's
I want this to happen while I am chastising Wonderland. I want just please let this happen while I'm chastising Wonderland.
In the background.
Yeah, in the background of the shot. Just, we can do the crash zoom trick again from last episode. I feel like Google's tactical skills have gotten worse in the past 2 episodes, but I'm so incredibly here for it. You tried to do a kaiju once, and suddenly you can do anything.
The logic is there, though. Went into a cloud one time. It worked great.
Go to another cloud.
Go into another cloud.
I have been doing this since the beginning, where the first plan that comes to mind is the plan that Goo Girl goes
Yeah, okay.
And I'm
before you even roll to describe how this looks, take a powerful blow with an additional +1 for saying, "Screw it, I'm throwing myself into the cloud made of fear."
So, it's +1 per condition?
+1 per condition, and also I'm giving... I'll treat it like... Do you have Afraid marked right now?
I have Afraid and Angry marked from the fight with Storm Chaser, but specifically I was mad at him and afraid of him. I'm leaving them marked because now I'm mad at Network, and I think this is scary.
In that case, what I was going to say is if you don't have Afraid marked, this is going to cause you to mark it automatically. So you don't need to go ahead and take an additional +1, but yes, you are going to have to roll that with the additional +2.
Well, without the additional +1, are you 100% sure you want to commit to that?
You can't say to the GM, are you sure about that?
Without the additional +1, I've rolled a 6. With the additional +1, I take a powerful blow.
Okay, sure. Take a powerful blow Jess. Why would you say that? Why would you tell me this?
It's funny. I don't know.
It is. Well, this is revenge for the pay-to-win D&D thing in the charity event that we did.
Plus, I cannot believe that this goes by.
No, you're right. Logistically, you know what? I'm sticking to what I first said. That is, I'm going to stick to my guns. You're definitely going to take a powerful blow from this. Pick what you want from the list, and then we'll describe exactly what's going to happen, and then you'll have to go forward from there.
All right. I think.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? I just.
No, I would have made this negative anyway. Yeah. There's no way around that.
I think I'm going to give ground, because I think it makes sense that if you launch yourself into a lot of things, they have an opportunity against you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is going to be so. Let's do a quick little intermission where I get to talk to the audience here. Hey guys, hey viewers of Power Play, thanks so much for watching this series all the way up to the finale. I didn't think this was going to happen. I planned for a lot of things, and throw myself into the fear cloud in the first hour of combat was not one of the things on my list. I do have an idea, so we'll see how this goes. Google, just for my note, what are you hoping happens when you do this in your mind?
In my mind, I am hoping that Google can. Everyone laughing at me is making second guess the decision.
No, this is a good idea. You gotta own it. This is a good idea.
Yeah. I'm hoping like make myself as big as possible, right? Like Google has had stretchy and extendy powers.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to be like kaiju sized or anything sustainable, but as big as possible to just hit as many of these lights as possible to have them all come and follow her and not follow other people, right? The idea is to just kite the entire threat away.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that works. You catapult yourself into this cloud, you make yourself big, and after a moment of flying, you find yourself on the other side of it with all of these lights trailing behind you.
Cool. Awesome. As big as I can be, I'm hoping I can get like a chunk out of this cloud.
Oh yeah, you take a massive chunk out of it.
Yeah, I think after landing is when Google, in this phone call that I assume we still have open, is gonna go, hey guys, I made a choice. There's a lot of lights on me now.
Am I still in a tube?
So yeah, you're kind of in a tube, but that's not the most relevant right now. No one immediately responds to you in this call. Like they kind of might like look down at the phone real quick, but they don't say anything.
Okay, cool. Just, hopefully that means less panic in the city. I hope I don't die.
Yeah, what's your plan going forward from here?
The plan was, because I'm very mobile, is to just keep moving towards the water and away from the city and get all of these things away from the city.
Yeah. As you keep going towards the water with your various like swinging and bouncing abilities, these clouds of light follow you out towards the harbor. This plan is working flawlessly.
That's so concerning, actually.
Can I?
All right.
Can I ask? Did Ring Bear see that call? Like canonically, I know nobody responded.
Let's deal with Google's thing first.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna find a boat and hope it has the keys in it and drive these things out into the.
Yeah, that's crazy. You find a boat and it has the keys. That's wild.
So nuts that this is all working.
This is working so well for you.
I sail off into the sunset like such a goddamn hero, and nothing is going wrong, and this is not all a dream.
Yeah. After a while, after like 20 minutes of sailing out into the bay, these clouds behind you start to dissipate. Everything's fine.
Hey guys, I saved everyone, and I'm great. This is awesome.
You call at this point, like you had your phone out. They don't answer.
Yeah. Out of character, I know what's going on. In character, can I assess the situation?
Yeah, assess the situation. You might know what's going on.
Superior?
Yes, that's a superior.
I don't know why I asked as if that would make a difference. I got a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
They didn't answer.
All right, well, I guess if the lights dissipated, I'll start going back towards the city.
All right, cool. You head back towards the city. The lights are gone. Like, people are still kind of running around in a panic. It's not like everything immediately got fixed. There's still a lot of collateral damage that happened from all that, but you make it back.
Awesome. Can I find Ring Bear, TBD, Alice?
Are you looking for anybody specific first, or like just sort of running through back in the direction where you came and trying to see whoever you get to first?
Whoever I get to first.
Okay. In that case, let's see. Logistically, if you're coming back into hold on. Give me 1 second. Don't worry about this.
Jesus Christ.
I've been worried about this for quite some time, actually.
It's a little worrying.
Somehow this is the first bad plan I've had all season.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. You find as you're going back, you run into Ring Bear. As she is helping clear out some of the monsters, like helping people out of rubble and stuff.
Oh my god, Ring Bear, did you get that on camera? I was so cool and saved everyone, and it turns out I'm great.
I'm sorry, do I know you?
What?
I mean, I'm glad you're having a great day, but introduction, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Goo Girl. I'm made of goo. We're part of the Turg.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. You doing you.
You're Ring Bear.
Sure. I don't know how you know that. Fucking Seattle, man.
And I'm Goo Girl. I'm made of goo. You can see this, right? I am still made of goo, yes?
As this conversation is going on, a bystander who's also helping some people out of the rubble of a collapsed building throws a brick at you, Goo Girl. Which doesn't hurt, it goes into your liquid form. But you definitely notice that impact, and the guy shouts, "Get out of the fucking way! People are trying to get out of the rubble here! You're holding everything up!"
Yeah, this really isn't a safe area. I mean, if you're able to... I mean, clearly you're goo, but I don't know if you have any, like, superhero experience. You should probably... I can evacuate you.
I'm like I can... Okay. You don't know who I am. They don't know who I am. No one knows... No one knows who I am. No one knows who I am.
You okay?
Okay. I can... Hold on. I'm gonna go see if I can find Nikki. Nikki knows me, right? I mean, I know she was teleporting. Maybe she's out now. I just take off trying to find Nikki. Nikki knows who I am. Nikki's my roommate. She'll remember me.
After a couple minutes of running through the city, you manage to find Nikki, but don't immediately find her in a way that you would expect. You see somebody that resembles Nikki, this is going to be a wild twist, in a super suit that you've never actually seen. Just like going through doing the same thing, helping people who are affected by the aftermath of this. Definitely looks like Nicole, but like, you don't know what this suit is.
Nikki, oh my god, you look great, but Nikki...
The superhero Nikki looks up at you very confused at hearing her actual name and goes, I'm sorry, do I know you?
It's Goo Girl. Rebecca.
She kind of like makes sure the person that she's helping is okay. They run off and she walks towards you like very kind of nervously and goes, I'm sorry, I don't think we've met.
I'm your roommate. Secret identity thing? I get it. Sorry. I'm Goo Girl of the superhero show. I was your roommate in our civilian life. I'm made of goo. Piano fell on me. And then we just like helped you not fall out of a building.
I know there's a lot of talk about super people wanting to be famous right now because of the whole power play thing and network, but just calm down. If you think you know me, we can figure that out, but just we need to get the people out of immediate danger and then we can talk, all right?
Okay, yeah, you're right. Of course you're right. I do know you. We're best friends. I know how that sounds. Wow, I've had about 100 people say that to me a day on TikTok.
Look, let me just check on these last couple people here. Just, can you wait on the other side of the street over there? Give me like 5 minutes and then we'll figure out what is going on. For her part, she does seem to like genuinely be a little bit concerned, right? It's not like she's totally blowing you off. She seems confused, but not uncaring about this.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I'll wait here. I'm gonna look for Tom.
Don't think you're gonna necessarily... Well, are you actually waiting? Or are you looking for Tom? Because those are not those are not compatible
I'm
things.
looking for Tom. I'm not waiting.
Okay. You run off. You're definitely not going to be able to find Tom. But you know what? We'll say this, right? As you're running around the city trying to find Tom, play it out. You also run into TBD.
TBD.
I need everyone to get back. The city is... Hello?
Hi. You don't know who I am, do you?
No idea. Are you injured?
No, I'm fine. Ring Bear and Nikki, I don't know the name she's using for herself right now, don't recognize or remember me either, which means some fuck shit is happening, but I am on your team. We fought Network together. We did the whole thing in the van with Tom getting us in and out, and it was like a Faraday cage. And we planned against... We had the place in Ephraim's Pizza. It was a whole thing, and now no one remembers me.
Okay, so psychotic breaks are really common in trauma situations. I need you to not to panic. I recommend you.
Taylor, I know who you are.
A lot of people kind of do. I'm here to help.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Not a mental breakdown. I think I'm made of goo. You can see that, yes?
Yeah.
And I was part of your team, and I launched myself into the cloud of gold things to try to kite them away from the city and stop people from getting attacked by the fear things. And I did something wrong, or something went wrong. They followed me into the harbor and they disappeared. And now no one seems to remember who I am, but I am on your team and I'm famous and we're friends. And you're like my boss and my leader guy, and I look up to you. And I really need you to know who I am and remember me.
Okay. What'd you say your name was?
Rebecca, Goo Girl.
Goo Girl, Rebecca. Thank you for your support. I will never forget your name. I gotta go help people.
Oh, God damn it.
Actually, real quick, before TBD runs off, coming back around from just helping somebody else a couple blocks away, Ring Bear, you're going to show up to reconvene. You see TBD talking to somebody and just run up to see what's going on.
All right, TBD, that block's good. Where haven't we hit yet?
We still gotta hit the southeast. We haven't even touched it.
Okay, hey, you should get out of here. It's pretty dangerous here.
I am
stubborn.
on the team.
She thinks she's on the team.
Great to meet a fan. I'm Ring Bear.
Yeah,
probably
number
obvious,
6.
you know that. Yeah, like the belt buckle. Yeah.
I whisper in Ring Bear's ear. I go, I think they're going through a little bit of a psychotic break. Just keep it kind, I guess.
I mean, yeah, understandable. So are there any autographs we can do? How did you even get in here? I mean,
as Google
do you
was
live around
protesting,
here? We could escape your home.
Appearing out of nowhere, continuing the reconvening, I guess I should say Fastlane shows up next to you guys and goes, okay, I'm still trying to figure out how exactly this whole thing works, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. I've gotten some people out. Are you two going okay? Also, hi, who's this? Have we met?
Yes, I'm your roommate. We live together.
I'm sorry, I don't have a roommate.
You do, and you are really into automotive engineering. You're late for everything, but you also drive me everywhere because I'm afraid of driving. And you have had a thing for this adorable dork over here for ages and have just been waiting for him to say something, and he finally said something to you. We know each other. I know things about you that you cannot... Oh, God. I just sound like a stalker. This isn't helping my case. Where's Tom?
Who's
Tom? We don't know a Tom.
Where's Umbra? He's still not back yet?
As far as you guys know.
You see
as far as
something,
you know.
You see a shadow moving in an alley not too far from where you are.
Is that you, me?
Yeah,
you
as in you, Goo Girl.
Goo Girl.
Over there. Umbra. Oh my God. I'm just going to start running towards that shadow.
She's
looking
fucking crazy.
so incredibly sane and normal.
He knew Tom's name. Could she? Could she
Okay,
be working with Network?
Nikki, yeah, Nikki.
Are we
Lindsay
compromised
goes,
again?
I mean, the only person who would know who I am, like, I just got here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
She's gotta
so
be.
either she's some kind of crazy stalker, or somehow we've all forgotten something.
Though, for the record, as Goo Girl runs to go see what's up with Umbra, none of you guys are going to remember that this interaction happened.
Okay. Suddenly,
What were we
it's not my
talking
problem. Southeast. We gotta get southeast.
Right.
Goo Girl behind you, you see them all just split up.
Okay, they're doing their thing. I'll catch up soon.
You do not have to.
Oh, okay.
Go
Okay,
home,
so
citizen.
And then you make it to the alleyway where you saw this motion.
Umbra, do you know me? Do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? It's me.
Yeah. The shadows sort of part, and Umbra steps out, looking sort of harried and a little bit wired, like pulling a civilian he was pulling out of a building. He's like, I'm sorry, what? Are you okay? Do you need some help?
You're back? You're back from the Shadow Realm thing with your Shadow Realm goddess person? You're okay?
What are you talking about? Who are you? Listen, lady, I'm really busy right now.
Oh, you don't remember me either. Okay. I don't know what to do. Hey.
Yeah, well, I can't help you. Listen, there's people who are stuck under rubble right now. I cannot be dealing with some kind of entitled fangirl who wants to take selfies or whatever. Get to safety or get out of my way.
I can help. I have superpowers. I'm made of goo and I can move things. Let me help if nothing else.
And Tom is gone.
But this is Goo Girl's biggest fear.
That's what happens when you throw yourself into a fear cloud. Yeah.
I can't tell if this is a hallucination that is happening to Goo Girl or if this is the actual state of events right now. But Jesus Christ. I thought my goofy little kite the enemy plan to give the team time was... I'm going to call the fucking group chat.
Sure. All of you guys get a call from this person you've never fucking seen before.
Question. Do I pop up in their caller ID as Goo Girl or do I just pop up as a number?
You wouldn't know that. You would not know that from your end.
That's true.
To keep the mystery, you said you didn't know if this was state of events or hallucination, so to keep the mystery, I'm not going to give you any information that you would not have.
Hello?
Hey, what happened to Ghostlight? Is he okay?
Oh my fucking god, she's some kind of hacker.
No, not a hacker. A complete...
It's the fucking...
I've never seen this woman before. How do you have my phone number?
Have superpowers. Am on your team. You seem to have forgotten me. I can vouch by telling you weirdly personal things about you, which I know is incriminating given the fact that we've dealt with somebody who knows weirdly personal things about all of us.
And
the fact that you're in my phone.
Jumping into the call, as he did a minute ago, Network just hacks in directly with his face showing up on the face. And he goes,
Oh, two of them.
Another new superhuman showing up today. Oh, this is a treat. What's your thing?
Network, go fuck yourself. I hate you.
Can't fool us, Network. We can tell she's working with you. How else would she have our phone numbers?
Goo Girl.
His name is Jason.
You see a couple drones fly down around your location in this alleyway and start looking. And then Network on the phone kind of goes, made of slime. That doesn't seem like it's going to have much appeal. And he hangs up.
I hate him so much.
Anyway, don't call this number, please.
How can I prove to you that you know me and forgot me? And I think there's got to be a way. What can I say? Because you know what? I'm part of this team too, and I can help. But you gotta trust me. I jumped into all of those lights in the skies. You remember Ghost Light? Remember all the orbs in the sky? How did that get resolved?
Do we have an answer?
Do we have an answer?
No.
I jumped in, and I am maybe something of an attention whore. Maybe I like the spotlight too much, and now everyone forgot me. And that's my biggest fear. And I don't think this crisis is over. And I don't know if Mason is okay or not. I just know that everyone forgot me.
Okay.
Slow down. You're telling us you're our Deus Ex Machina, and also you're like kind of trauma dumping, and it's just like we're trying to save civilians. It's just
Okay.
Oh, sorry,
Listen,
Tom got a video call. It's trans femme thing. My bad.
what was your name again?
Goo Girl, Rebecca.
Goo Girl. Let me give you some word of advice, Goo Girl. Instead of going around asking for handouts to try and become a hero, how about you start with actually being a fucking hero? Boop.
That was a little harsh, but yeah, lose this number, please. Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. I'll start with being an actual goddamn hero. It's the one fucking thing I know how to do. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for any sign of Mason in the sky.
Well, you don't necessarily need to. After getting hung up on, you turn around and like a centimeter in front of your face, ghost light.
Jesus Christ, Mason! I am gonna. Is he? I mean, he's ghost light, so he's still asleep.
Ghost light.
I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah. You're gonna try to grab him? Make me a directly engage a threat.
All right. Let me check and make sure I don't have any negatives to that. Oh, I sure do, because I'm afraid. Let's go. And directly engage a threat is danger?
Yes.
Okay, so that's an 8 minus 1 is a 7?
Slight success, yeah, so pick her from the list.
Okay. I'm going to... So, I mean, the easiest thought is resist or avoid their blows, right? Grab them and then not get hit back. I'm trying to think what I could take from him in this situation. Because it seems like no one knows that he's there. Maybe if I can make him react in some way, I can take his stealthiness away from him.
You can try that, yeah. I mean, tell me what you want to do, and then I'll say what happens.
I guess, yeah. So, I'm not still in the sky, am I?
No, you're still in the alleyway.
Okay. I'm just making sure I'm actually in the alley. Yeah, I'm gonna resist or avoid the blows. I'm gonna try to grab him without anything bad happening to me in return, I think.
All right. You reach out to grab him. And even though you try your best to resist or avoid the blows, as you reach out, a wave of these lights emanates from behind him and slams into you, filling your whole vision with this blinding ethereal light and throwing you backwards. And as you are slammed backwards, you run into a wall of a building behind you, and then somehow through the floor of that building, and find yourself falling through this mass of spectral glow. And then suddenly, you are falling out of a glow with the Seattle skyline below you.
Oh, thank God. I mean, like, shit, it didn't work, but also, oh, thank God. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to, like, Spider-Man grab so I don't hit the ground and, like, fucking splatter everywhere. But wow, what a terrible idea that was.
Yeah, you're able to catch yourself. I won't make you do a roll for that. You are able to you know, with whatever method you choose, stop yourself from impacting the ground too badly. But there was that.
Jesus Christ. All right, I'm out of ideas, guys. I did no good.
I mean, maybe did something. We'll have to see exactly what that was. And now, you know what? Thematically, I think now is a good enough time. It's been long enough. Tom, let's cut over to you real quick. Now, you are nowhere near this. You have no idea what the fuck is going on. But I believe there was something else you wanted to do in the Shadow Realm to wrap up your actions there.
Yeah, so Tom still is on the floor of Ereshkigal's throne room as she has taken Network himself into her shadow tendril arms and seems to be, I guess, distracted by him, interested in examining him to figure out what's going on.
Best you can tell. You don't have a great read on Ereshkigal's body language, but yeah.
Yeah. And Tom sits there like just for a bit and sort of like breathing heavily, trying to figure out what the hell to do. And absent, like, sort of having the last thing he heard from Network was laughter, right? Like, yeah. As though like he's got something else going on. Mm-hmm. So at this point he's like, shit, he's got something else. Like, I think Tom will intuit that like he had some like Network gave him the clue, right? Network said, I can't see anything down here.
Yeah, he said something along the lines
Tom
like, I can't see any of this, which implies that his perception is elsewhere.
Yeah, so Tom is like finally gonna pick up on that one and go, oh shit, oh no. Oh no. And I think this is gonna be where Tom spends his moment of truth.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so for the Doomed playbook specifically, the moment of truth requires you to also mark an extra spot on your Doom track, which I've marked 4 so far, so this will be the 5th one, which is the last one, curiously, also. Don't worry about that. I'm sure that'll be fine.
Yeah.
But
maybe it's like conditions where you have to, it's like when you would mark another one if it's full. Maybe it's that.
Maybe that's how it works, yeah. So, rules is written with the moment of truth, says do impossible things, do anything. So this moment
yes.
when Tom is at the very core of Ereshkigal's realm right now. He's as close to her power as he has ever been in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And Ereshkigal made him a window between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So, using essentially the dark vision's power, maybe without meaning to, Tom is gonna he's gonna be thinking, shit, I need to know like what's happening up there, and his perception is going to reach out, and he's going to see through the shadows. He's going to see Goo-Girl falling through the cloud of fear, screaming, like going through whatever the hell she is. He's going to see Ring Bear and TBD desperately trying to save civilians. He's going to see the minigun with the cars and the tank and kind of go, oh, shit. He's going to see all of that going on. He's going to see hundreds, thousands of people running in fear, screaming, facing like the worst horrors from out of their imagination anywhere that they've ever seen before. And then he's going to sense something else. He's going to sense that all those lives up there have tiny, itty-bitty, infinitesimally small threads of connection to the souls down here. That the lives that exist up there, all of them are the results of lives that are now, souls that are now resting down here. And without really knowing what he's doing, he's going to remember that night in the warehouse when he was terrified by Ghostlight. And he's going to feel to himself, what is the one thing I needed the most when I was facing my nightmares in that moment? And again, like, I think borrowing a bit of Ereshkigal's power, maybe without meaning to, maybe without really thinking about it, he's going to do what windows do, and he's going to open a way. And all throughout the shadows of Seattle, terrified people see something emerging out of the side, and they look and they see parents, grandparents, children, dogs that they once lost, ancestors, the nurse, like, that delivered them in the delivery room, every life to which they have some kind of connection. Those people start surging out of the shadows and bring comfort and bring help to everyone who is currently facing the worst nightmares of their lives alone. And it's not as though having some comfort on your side makes the nightmare go away. Like, having someone to face the horrors with you doesn't make the horrors less horrifying, but facing your fears alone is not the same as facing them together with someone. And the pandemonium and panic and chaos that Network was hoping to cause, it doesn't stop, but it dims a little bit. The screams turn to sobs, and people are comforted, and the monsters are held off just for the barest hint of a moment. And near where TBD and Nikki and whoever else is present there, out of the shadows, Tom is going to emerge as wild and weird looking as his suit has ever looked before. More of a cloud than an actual shadow. And a question for Ring Bear. Who does Danny most need to see right now?
Who does she most need to see? Probably her mentor.
Well, guess who's stepping out of a shadow right next to you and putting a hand on your shoulder? And I'll let you determine what happens next.
You're not really there, are you? I'm sorry. I don't think I'm very good at helping people. I thought I could use what I had to, I don't know, entertain or make people happy or what, but everywhere I go, people are scared of me now. I'm scared of myself. And I really don't know if I can do this. But overall, I'm sorry, because I am tap dancing and shit on a legacy that you built, and I just don't feel worthy of it anymore. So I think whatever may come, whether I'm ring bearer or not, I can't be a hero. But I will do what I can to do good. Ring bearer brushes the hand off her shoulder, and in that same motion takes down the suspenders from her costume. The quintessential wrestling power-up moment when the suspenders come down. And she will walk onward with Wonderland to wherever their next destination is.
Beyond your view, in whatever weird cyber spectral realm he exists in right now, Network is absolutely losing his shit, right? Whether he even has a physical body to react at this point, you're not entirely sure. But on the FaceTime call, if it's still active or not, on any screens throughout the city that are showing his influence narrating, you see his now digital face start to glitch and shift as he rages against this. And as Ringbear starts to turn away from the form of her mentor, one of these golden drones starts to do something it's done before with TBD, which is directly interfere despite it being a camera, and it swoops down with full force and full speed directly towards the head of this person from your past that you're speaking to. And it glides right through. Because this is a spirit, this is a memory, this isn't something that he can touch. This is the anti-fear, and it is outside of Network's range, much to his anger. That was a good move from Umbra.
Yeah.
But the conflict is not over yet.
Yeah, no, Umbra appears like near where TBD is, like out of the shadows, with like tendrils of shadow just pouring from him, kind of going, okay, hi everyone.
Whoa!
I couldn't think of anything else to do.
This is you?
Yeah, oh my god. I'm being stretched in directions I didn't even know were possible.
Yeah, you don't look that good, man.
No, I can hold it. Just, I think this'll deal with most of the stuff, but we still need to get Ghostlight out of doing whatever the hell he's doing.
Okay. Yeah. You can hold it?
For a bit, anyway.
That's all I need. And I guess we go to find Ghostlight.
All right.
Nikki can get you there, right?
Yeah, Nikki can get you here. Now, real quick, let's recap roughly where everybody is. If you guys want to have a call and bring everybody together, let's establish where the whole team is going into this true final conflict here. And that is largely up to you guys, because like I said, you can reconvene.
I would like to reconvene if I can.
Yeah, reconvening ideally
Let's do that.
around Ghostlight, which would ideally be close to Tom as well. But I don't know how it all plays out where we are exactly.
Yeah.
But all being together would sure be nice.
Okay, so you're going to reconvene, let's say on a roof, not necessarily the same roof that this started on, because Ghostlight has risen up higher at that point, but like a skyscraper a block down from it or something like that. Tom, though I imagine it's something of a strain to do this at this point, you can teleport your way up there. Nikki can take you up there, go and get Ring Bear and Wonderland. Goo Girl, you can slingshot yourself up there.
Do you think
You
it'd be
guys
very funny
all-
if that's where I landed?
Yeah,
Like they're all where's Google? Yum!
You can
Said my
land right
name.
there.
Oh my god, you remember me, and just hug.
Yeah.
Aw.
And before we get into final messages here, before this last real fight conflict, we're at about an hour and a half. I think that's a great narrative time to have our final commercial break of the season. So we will be right back. Everyone stay tuned. The last chapter is upon us. The last one. It's the last one. Welcome, everybody. This is Matt with the final commercial break of Power Play, which feels very, very, very weird to say after doing 9 of these. Our first announcement is entirely normal. We have a Patreon. We've had one for a while, and we still have one. But this time, I get to give you a little bit more definitive information about what it's going to look like as of next year. We are going to be overhauling the Patreon a little bit. We don't plan to change the existing tiers, at least as little as we can, but we are going to be adding at least one higher tier, which gives you access to some entirely new D&Dorks content. We don't have an exact launch date for that new tier yet, mostly because we have to set up and record the new content, but I would expect it at some point in January, probably concurrent with the release of one of the episodes of Murder Under Moonlight Shade. And speaking of that series, it's what we're doing next. Murder Under Moonlight Shade is the next mini-series from the D&Dorks, a murder mystery DM'd by Mike, and I can finally now announce the cast for it officially. It will, of course, have Mike as the DM, like I just said, and the players in the campaign will be myself, Nikhil Clayton, Pirate Princess Jess, and Jake, otherwise known as Adventures in Ardia, a cast that you've seen before, but mixed up a little bit with the DM and player roles. I'm very excited to play alongside this group that I DM'd for a few months back. The target release date for episode 1 of that series is January 15th, though I will say it could get pushed back a week. There's a lot of people involved in filming something like this, and it is the holiday season, so I'll be very upfront that we could have a slight delay, but I'll try to minimize the odds of that as much as I can. And finally, after 10 episodes, I get to reveal the new official Power Play Artist Showcase merch line featuring a new design for each of the core Power Play heroes, all drawn by a different artist in their own signature style. The prompt for this was literally just me telling the artist, here's the character you're going to be working with, make a cool t-shirt. And boy, did we get some cool t-shirts, so let's go through them. First off, we have the Umbra Showcase design done by Schizo, a name that some of you might recognize as the artist who worked on Agents of Hades. Since Agents is also in the Anti-Cosmic Universe, and Umbra is a very similar, almost horror-esque character, plus Schizo and TB Skyen know each other, I figured she was the perfect person for this design. And my god, I was right. This design is so cool. It looks like a splash art from a video game or something. I love every piece of it. It was the first one we got done, and when I saw it, I immediately knew that this line was a good idea. Next, for the Ring Bear Showcase design, we have this by a personal friend of mine, Josh C. Lyman. I've known Josh for a while. I really appreciate him contributing to this project. I knew that his style would bring a very, very cool energy to Ring Bear, and I love the circus sideshow style poster that we have here. Third, we have the TBD design by Katrin Snodgrass, by far the highest profile person on this line. Katrin works on storyboards for Invincible, guys. I'm amazed and so happy that we were able to bring her in for this. She also has worked on Ben 10 in the past, which is why I thought of her for TBD, because, I mean, I shouldn't have to explain that connection. And last but not least, we have the Goo Girl design by Julians, an artist that I actually met fairly recently at Colossal Con back in August, and when I saw their work, I was immediately like, ooh, I want to see Goo Girl in this style, and I am so glad I thought that because it turned out fantastic. And I kind of lied when I said finally, because there is a bonus one that's technically not part of the Artist Showcase line. By popular demand, I will be bringing back the network shirt that was part of the original Kickstarter for the Power Play one-shot I made years ago. You can find these designs, links to the work of the artists that made them, and a whole lot more on the new unified anti-cosmic merch store, which also has the Agents of Hades stuff now, at the domain name anticosmic.network, because that domain name was available and I just absolutely had to. Links are also in the description everywhere for ease of access. I know it's been a very long process getting this merch line done, but I hope that now that you guys can see the entire thing, you understand that it was worth it. I really, 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 really love how all of these turned out. And hey, if they sell well enough, there is a second drop with villains that is entirely possible. So buy it for Christmas gifts maybe, and we can get the second drop done. Man, it feels weird to finally have the merch line actually ready to announce, but there we go. There it is. Now we can move on to other things. And the fan art contest. The last one that will actually be announced in an episode, but I'll talk more about that in just a second. This week's entry for episode 7 was submitted by Rollster. Episode 7 was, of course, a very spooky one, and so I appreciate the spooky vibes of this entry. Also, I just like the general idea of it. They really took that description I gave about Ereshkigal being over the horizon to heart. Now, this is, of course, the last episode of the show, but we can't show you the winners of the remaining episodes because, well, we have to give people time to actually make art, and that can take a while, so I've heard. I will say one more time, 8, 9, and 10 will have fan art contests just like the previous ones, and they will have winners with prize packs all the same. We're just not going to be announcing them on the show because the show is done now. They will be announced officially though. We're still working out the best way to do that, but at the very least, definitely check our Instagram and TikTok at the D&Dorks. We will post them there and possibly other places if we can figure out a good way. Actually, as I'm recording this commercial break and thinking about it out loud, we might do it on YouTube Shorts. That seems like a good idea. I don't necessarily promise that it'll be every week because holiday season once again, but YouTube Shorts seems like a good plan, so look out for those as well. And there, now we're done. No more commercial breaks for Power Play. Just one half of an episode to go and then the series is over. So I will say it once again, thank you all so much for watching. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you guys watching and enjoying this series so much. It means a lot to me. Let's get into the ending. And we're back with the final half of the final episode of Power Play. Where we left off, you guys all reconvened on the top of a skyscraper, which is the tallest building nearest to the rising form of Ghostlight. Everybody gets up there. Ghostlight is in the air. You can do and assess the situation. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Rather than me describing, everyone who at least feels that they have the cognizance to, whether that's you do is up to you, you can make assess situation checks, and you have to ask your questions. That will be the information you have going into this last sort of chapter, and then you guys can play.
Okay. That's superior.
Yeah.
That's an 8 from me.
All right. One question for you. Oh, and Fastlane and Wonderland, double superhero names for them. They are up here as well. They're not going to get checks because I only try to do this for combat
That's
NPCs.
a 3.
Nothing for TBD.
Sure.
What'd you get, Jess?
8.
All right. Another question for you.
Right. I would like to ask, how could we best end this quickly? That's one of the questions I can ask.
Yeah.
I did not know I was muted that whole time. I got a 10.
Hey, 2 questions. Okay. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's have you go last, because then you'll have the others. You can set up as much information. How can you best end this quickly? Looking around, I mean, this is kind of the obvious answer, but you kind of do know what Ghostlight's defeat condition is. It is the only defeat condition that you are aware of in this moment. However, given that you also are currently maintaining a very, very, very powerful and very unstable link to the underworld.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to leave contact with the shadows. He's going to have to stay on the ground.
So basically, I'll tell you this. Right now, as best you can tell, Ghostlight is in a feedback loop, essentially, right? You know what? I'm cutting what I just said. I'm going to have everybody ask their questions, and then I will answer them all at once. That way I can get a better narrative flow with that rather than cutting back and forth. So how could we best end this quickly? Google, what do you want to ask?
The what can I use to X, and it's going to be what here can I use to actually affect him? Because everything we've tried to do has gotten intercepted.
Cool.
And so, is it somebody's powers? Is it something nearby that we can grab? What can we use to actually affect Ghostlight?
That's a good question. I have information for that. And then, with the knowledge that those 2 will be answered in my collective info dump, What are your 2 questions, Mike?
I will say, what here is in the greatest danger? And it doesn't necessarily have to be from the list. Does it?
No, like I said,
Okay.
kind of stick relatively close to the list, but I will always allow you to modify slightly within... I trust you guys within reasonable limits, you know.
What else would I need to know?
If you want, I'll be nice, because this is going into the final thing here. I'll let you hold your last question until I answer the other 3.
I'll hold.
Okay, so... Everyone is reconvened, you're looking around, you're trying to get information as to what's going on. The things you know about Ghostlight's powers, that they activate when he's asleep, and from, I believe, what Network said, it was very brief, it was determined through some experiments that they are defensive, right? They activate at perceived threats. What has happened in this case is that Mason has been drugged, both with tranquilizers and with other shit that's making him have some sort of hallucination, night terror, whatever. What is essentially happening right now is a feedback loop. Mason is terrified in his little nightmare scenario. His lights are then going out because he's scared and feels threatened. They are manifesting in the rest of the city. They are scaring the shit out of everybody around, and because that is contributing to collective panic, that is making the situation more tense, which is making him, as a general thing, feel more threatened, which is why the cloud is growing, right? The fear is all compounding in on itself. That's bad. Right now, in this moment, Umbra has put a pause on that loop. Because at the moment, the overwhelming sense that is coming up from the city, while still kind of insane, is not that raw fear. Because the people are getting this direct comfort from their loved ones that have been summoned from the underworld, right? The loop is currently paused. He is vulnerable, right? But there is a danger to that. Because right now, the question of what is in the most danger, the panic from the city is on pause, it is subsided, which means the biggest threat is you guys. And if you look around, you are superpowered people relatively nearby to him. The lights, both from the cloud and from the ground, are going to be coming up to you guys. The challenge that you have right now, which I will give for Google's question, you've tried to attack Ghostlight before, right? Hasn't really worked. But you do know, when he's just sort of approached normally, he doesn't activate. The biggest challenge you have right now is you have to figure out a way, at least this is the path apparent to you, to get up to him in the way that seems least threatening while you are also under assault.
So instead of launching ourselves towards him, what if you fell and he just happened to be in the way?
Oh, I'm good at falling. Question. How do we fall and not go through a bunch of those lights? Because I can tell you that is not fun.
That's also true. And Nikki, where she goes, she at this point, she's been jumping around the city, kind of helping people, carrying TBD around. She's kind of gasping a little bit. She goes, okay. The fear is starting to hit her a little bit, both from the Ghostlight situation and also she's been fully thrown into the deep end with getting fully involved in this. She goes, okay. Sorry, I'm a little, this is a lot. Just a note to that. If something falls like directly on him or in his line of vision, that might startle him, which might be bad. I don't think we want to startle him.
No, we want to, and they like Umbra's like pulling on shadow tendrils, sort of trying to hold all this together. Yeah, we don't want to, like, when I approached him in shadow form, he kind of rounded on me. When I took the suit off, he was apparently calmer and more okay with it. So, like, I think the move is to be as little of a superhero as you possibly can.
What if we just walk up to him?
Well, he is in the air.
We have a person that can make things bigger or smaller. Do you have like a large tree that we can make a pathway with?
Wonderland pulls the log that was established last episode that she had in her pocket out of her pocket. Goes, yeah, I mean, I have this, but like, it's just gonna, I can try it. She kind of tosses the log. It lands on the edge of the building. She grows it, and it just sort of extends and then topples off the building. She goes, well, there goes that.
Well, if you want to play that as a comedy moment, absolutely. Otherwise, Tom can try and like grab it with tendrils and like prop it up.
You can try to as it's falling, because it is a comedy moment because she's not the brightest. I mean, you can grab it as it's falling. I mean, that's kind of small, but that technically is a thing.
You can make it grow bigger, right? Tom and I can hold it, and maybe TBD. And you've taken your suspenders off. Are you still going by Ring Bear? This is like kind of a wrestling moment.
Ring Bear is okay for now, but
Cool. Don't want a dead secret identity, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, TBD and Ring Bear can just casually walk up all friendly like while Tom and I hold this down.
Yeah,
You got this, right,
Alice,
Umbra?
just grab as much as you can. We'll lash you together. We'll make a ladder. And the two of you are just going to have to go up and be normal with him.
Be normal.
Okay.
Okay.
So the plan is set. Wonderland grows this log. Umbra holds it up, kind of tilts it towards Ghostlight, floating up in the air very slowly.
Yeah, Goo Girl like glues things together with like goop.
Yep, stabilizing it as best I can.
Now, who is going up there, right? Is it TBD and Goo Girl? Is it just TBD?
Oh, I'm not going up.
it was going to be TBD and Ring Bear.
TBD and
Yeah,
Ring Bear?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Here's the wrench in this plan, right? Because this, of course, can't be this simple,
Damn
right?
wrench.
In just a couple of seconds to a minute, a bunch of these lights are going to converge on your location. If you guys are trying to walk up slowly and calmly and not make yourself an intimidating presence, some people are going to have to be running defense.
What's the professor up to?
You're not sure. You can try to contact her if you want, but she's on the ground. You haven't seen her at the moment.
Oh, I can run defense.
But also, like I said, this is crisis moment. I'm looking at the clock right now. You guys got to decide, or we're going to get thrown into a
if we
fight.
need somebody to run
Just-
defense, it should be Danny, and then I can go talk to Mason.
Yeah, Tom can't leave the ground, so like he'll defend himself down here, but there's
Yeah.
a limit to how much he can do any higher up from the ground.
Umbra and Wonderland are currently wrapped up in keeping actually, I'll say Tom and Wonderland are wrapped up in keeping this plan from falling apart. They're the ones maintaining the bridge. Nikki kind of looks around, these things are going around and goes, I don't think I'm going to be really good at like fighting stuff. I've never done that before, but I'll stay here, and if anyone falls off the building, I can catch them and bring them back up. I think I can do that. I think that'll be fine. So she's going to be running falling interference.
That'd be great.
If I can take that minigun, can I fire goo pellets from it and have a little bit of range to be cool and help defend?
I don't necessarily know if you're going to be able to fire goo out of a gun, but you can just shoot goo. Like, you've shot goo
that's
before. I feel like the gun is an unnecessary middleman in this scenario.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So holding the tree down and projectile defense to help with the defense.
All right. So that's the plan set.
I guess.
Yeah.
I will let you guys choose. Well, I'd say choose. Goo Girl and Ring Bear. For the initial setup of this last stage, you can choose, roll defend someone or engage a threat as this happens, and then I'll describe what happened. The results for what you choose will be different, right? You can both choose the same, you can choose different, but if you're on sort of team defense here, that's going to affect how I describe what goes down. And then obviously once I know the results of your rolls and you've chosen your results, if any, I'll describe this final conflict really coming to a close here.
I think it's going to be defend someone. I think with the lessons that Google learned, it has to be defend somebody in this moment.
Okay.
Danny is also going to do defend someone because she's running defense, and frankly put, it is the most effective decision to make in this scenario.
All right, both of you make me defend someone checks.
I rolled mine, and I got what would have been a 7, but I'm insecure, so it's a 5.
Okay.
Damn.
I can
Nice.
add a +1 to that
That's
with
still a
my
There's -2,
with
it
my
doesn't
Nova
help.
boost. and a team point would get that up to a 7, right?
Yes, that is correct. You do still have 3 team points remaining. Nobody has used any yet in this conflict here.
I knew we wouldn't.
Really quickly, I need to let my cat out of the room. I didn't realize she was in here sleeping, and if she's in here with
we'll
the door
do
closed, she's gonna
Mike's
get
roll
mad
real
at me.
quick. What did you get?
I got a 12.
Oh, okay, yeah, hell yeah. I will let you do any cool description that you want here as we go through what's happening. Before this is determined, Umbra, you're putting a +1 on the, I'll assume if somebody will put a team point on it, which
If
I think
there's a team point, then I will push it over the edge
then you
to a
will
7.
push a Nova.
Yeah.
I'll allow that to happen so you don't burn
Down to
resources.
2.
You will put a team point on? TBD? Yeah, was that what you said?
Well, I think Tom can do both. I think he can do a Nova and a team point.
Given that Tom is currently super overextending himself to hold this down, I will say he could do one or the other. I don't know if I'm going to allow him to do both.
I'll do the Nova thing. If someone else, like,
I can
maybe
toss a team point on it. I assume I'm the one being defended to a degree anyway, so I'll toss a team point on it.
All right. The stage is set. Let's describe this scene. We zoom in to the top of a skyscraper in downtown Seattle. Above it, a dark figure hovers in the sky, jolting and jittering as if going through some sort of horrible vision, as it slowly rises upwards to this ominous, shifting cloud of spectral light above it. Below, we see Wonderland extend the sides of this log as Umbra, straining as he maintains these many flowing connections of shadow cascading off the side of the building, but managing to lift this log up a little bit and start carrying it upwards towards the floating figure. TBD, as this log starts getting lifted up, you jump on and start slowly walking up it, kind of balancing your way as it gets brought up to the figure above. But this is, of course, not the only force in this situation. With the spirits of Seattle's loved ones comforting them from the ground, Ghostlight's attention is now focused on really the only thing that could be possibly perceived as an immediate threat. And lights from both above and below start converging. You see these gigantic, gaunt hands made of light start to crawl their way up the sides of these buildings. Light drifting down from the sky take the form of these extended, almost skeletal bird-like creatures as they swoop down in. Goo Girl, you try your best while holding the mass of this log together to fire a bunch of goo pellets at them, but they're pretty fast and you're not able to do enough. And as one of these birds swoops in towards TBD, ready to knock him off this log, Ring Bear, you got a 12. Go ahead and describe your defense for me.
Getting the kayfabe power boost from bringing down the suspenders, Danny's strong enough to, sure, rip a door off a car and discus throw it into the light that is going for TBD.
Oh, hell yeah. Wonderland pulls a car out of their pocket, extends it, kind of tosses it over to you, you grab it, and then Captain America shield that thing right into the bird, just straight up chopping it in half as the two lights dissipate in a flash, continuing forward.
I wanna establish what Danny is actually doing in this moment. She is taking a car that is on the road, ripping the door off of that, and Captain America-ing that into the light.
Okay, sure, why not? Go for it. You fully hurl this thing from the ground all the way up. You got a 12. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. The second this thing is about to impact TBD, just BAM! Gets fully chopped in half there as this goes through. Now, Goo Girl, you're going to have to take a powerful blow for me here because your defense did not hit in this situation, but the one going for TBD did.
Fair.
By the way,
How many?
for my 12, I would like to add a team to the pool.
Ah, yes, you can go and add that team point.
Yeah.
Get that back from spending it previously. Oh, now Goo Girl, actually, I think I described that wrong because you guys decided to team point Goo Girl's thing up, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah, so that the defense at least hits. I think there's still like negative consequences from a 7, but it's not as bad.
Yeah, okay. In that case, you're not going to take a powerful blow, so you're actually good. It doesn't really matter. It does kind of work. With your goo pellets, you are able to fend these things off, but just barely. It still takes some of Umbra's tendrils smacking them away. TBD, you do have to sort of duck out of the way of a claw as it swoops by and barely manages to grab you, as you are still slowly lifted up. Now, as you approach TBD, make me an Unleash Your Powers check.
Oh boy. Can we say that I've had time to hone in?
In this case, no, because this isn't something you were necessarily
I
expecting.
knew I should have said it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's still fine. It's a +2. That is a 9.
A 9. Okay. As you're going up there, right, you do start to sort of feel a sense of your powers activating, right? You have a vague sense of when it's going to go, even if it doesn't always feel the same. There is kind of a collective thing that happened with it. You felt a little bit drained for the past, hour or so of this conflict, but now for the first time, you can kind of sense your powers starting to reactivate again. But you're not sensing immediately why, which you could take as a positive, hey, your powers are still working, or you could take as a negative of, oh shit, my powers are apparently needed, which I will leave to you as to what you decide to interpret that as. As you're deciding, Umbra, you're also going to need to make me an Unleash Your Powers check.
I am very happy to. That is, let me just check with my conditions and all. Let's see. That is an 11.
An 11. Okay, so you get to crit there. So you're going to definitely get some extra information as you're going here. You described this, well, following Ereshkigal's description, you referred to this thing that you're doing as basically opening the window, right? You were a window that Ereshkigal was looking through. Now you are taking the glass off of that and allowing things to flow through. You start to get the sense that while you are straining a lot to keep all of these souls in reality for as long as it takes to shut Ghostlight's feedback fear loop down, you're starting to feel a pull on the other side. And you're able to hold it together, right? But not a pull as much as, like, these souls are from the underworld. It's taking energy to keep them here, right? It's less that you are trying to, like, keep this door open, and more that something is trying to pull back on these strands that are connecting you. With an 11, you're able to hold, so you're good, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
As we go forward.
He'll do like a lurch, like, whoa, okay.
Something feels fishy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep going.
Now, we're gonna do that loop again real quick.
Okay.
Ring Bear Goo Girl. Defend someone or engage a threat. Once again, I will leave it up to your discretion whether you want to do the same or different. Does not matter.
See, my engage a threat would be better, but defend someone, I think, is what she's doing right now.
This is not a puzzle of one is the correct answer, one is the wrong answer. There will just be different responses to both. But don't feel like, oh, this is a test to see if I choose defense. Like, this is a deep cut reference. This is not a Sword of Might, Amulet of Right bit for my Captain Britain fans out there.
Nice. But no, I still think, though, after what just happened, I mean, Goo Girl is not engaging a threat. She's going to be defending, and I think defend is the thematic role to make. Puzzle or not, as much as I'd love to take the extra +1, she's defending.
All right.
Danny is also defending in this instance.
Maybe those rolls.
I'm scared.
No, I don't. That's a 9.
Okay.
That's a 9.
Success.
I also got a 9.
Double
Heyo.
successes.
Twinsies.
Hey.
Turg.
I guess now we're like Turg.
Butturg.
Worse. Somehow.
Fastlane Alice.
Somehow worse.
We got like
Wait,
a
her
F
name
in
is
there.
Wonderland.
There's a W in there.
Hmm.
We'll workshop it. We don't have enough
Twerf.
vowels.
Twerf.
Before I describe something, you guys can choose your options. You can add team to the pool, or you can clear conditions. That might be a better choice. I'll let you guys choose before the descriptors happen here.
Yeah, I'm gonna clear a condition. I'm gonna drop that angry condition.
Okay.
I honestly only have 2 conditions marked. Well, I will unmark hopeless because it is appropriate to do so.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, good final moment to set that up here. Once again, these things sort of come in to try and stop TBD from approaching Ghostlight, as he is, in one way or another, perceived as some type of threat. But you guys are able to fight them off as they approach. But, as this happens, despite your defenses being successful, you hear through all of the chaos that is around you, these sort of strange sounds that these lights produce when they are in active attack mode, over what seems to be some sort of loudspeaker from maybe off the side of the off the side of the roof. You do hear the voice of, probably to no one's surprise at this point, Network.
Great.
As you hear him not even talking directly to you, as much as he is narrating at this point. But what he is narrating, it's definitely not right. He is representing this situation in a way that is so actively wrong, as he has kind of realized that the optics of this situation specifically could be a little bit turned. And what you hear over this speaker going over the rooftop that you are on top of, but presumably also broadcast to everybody out at large. It appears that we might have misunderstood the situation in a move that honestly surprises me as much as it surprises anybody else. It seems that whatever strange cloud is above us seems to be some sort of portal that is bringing back the spirits of, it's strange as it sounds, the spirits of people that the people of Seattle can connect to in some form or another. And yet, despite that, this shadowy figure that Umbra has expanded and transformed into, it's something that the heroes seem to be defending as they stop the portal. You can clearly tell he's representing this in an inverted way to what's actually happening, right? These spirits do not look the same as Umbra's shadows do typically. That similarity has not escaped Network's gaze, and he is clearly trying to paint Umbra as the villain in this scenario. Therefore, you guys, as his defenders, for whatever reason, are incriminated in this too. As he continues on, you'll have a chance to try and respond to this in any way. But in his sort of signature thing, he is kind of speaking in such a way that gives you guys the benefit of the doubt, but in a way that definitely makes it invite more suspicion, right? So, perhaps the heroes have been put under some sort of psychic effect, but either way, it's undeniable that they are clearly not on the side of the public in this, and I can only hope for their and everyone's sakes that they can snap their way out of it. Unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do. Well, I didn't want to say this, but I have been drastically injured during Ghostlight's escape from my research facility. And so while I'm trying to get my drones on the scene to at least have a record of what's going on in case none of us make it out, this may be the last broadcast that we are able to put out to everyone. Does anyone have any response to this, as best you can tell? Or as best as you can manage?
Basically, it's like kind of rolls his eyes like he's so fucking tacky.
They're not gonna believe this shit, surely.
Oh, they're gonna believe everything. Have you been on the internet?
Yeah.
People are gonna... Network is evil and lying!
Yeah.
Goo attempts to be calling out. I can't really make it out from here. It seems like there's some sort of feedback that's interfering with our speakers, but whatever it is, if there is some shred of her left in there, I can only hope that she is giving some last hopeful message to the people. I'm sure that's what she would want you to take away from this.
Where's the professor with that goddamn signal jammer? We asked her an
Using
hour
the
ago.
shadows to spell out like Network is a troll, kind of. Like, I know he's not going to show that on screen.
No.
That was a joke.
Of course not.
Tom at this point is beyond caring about Network.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I'm focused on the actual real problem at hand.
Yeah, I'll focus too. Fine.
All right. Everybody chooses. Well, I guess we didn't technically check up with Ring Bear. Did you want to say anything in response, or are you ignoring it and focusing on the task at hand as well?
Ignoring it. Danny said her piece earlier.
Good. See, I love that, right? Because that was my intent for this. Network tries to goad you in the final moments, and the correct thing to do at this point is to ignore it. No matter what you try and say in response, he's always going to spin it. He's got control of the signal at this point. Really, that is a no-win situation, so the best thing to do is focus on the task at hand, let him rant, let him rage, and trust that the professor is going to handle it. And yeah, as underwhelming as an end to his broadcast as it might be, suddenly the broadcast just cuts out. Best you can tell, the signal jamming has gone back into effect. The professor seems to have found a way to do it. And Network's voice is silenced instantaneously, quickly. Now, other cameras on other news stations are still going to be filming this, maybe not from the air like Network's drones were, of course, as it's going to be a little bit hard to get that in. But we'll zoom out to the people at large, right? Once again, do the classic people around the world watching this on the screens. As Network's broadcast cuts out, people click away from it. It's not like they had that much loyalty. When he stopped providing a service to them, they clicked to other news stations. There are people on the ground in Seattle. There are news stations that have made their way up to other skyscrapers that are trying to get at least some angle on things. And from their angles, both literally and metaphorically, I suppose, those angles show things that make a little bit more sense, right? It's not necessarily more comforting. There's a weird monster attacking the city, and there are people that are trying to fight it, right? Ring Bear has actively attacked a supervillain and injured him pretty brutally on camera. Umbra has done the same and is also a shadow monster. Goo Girl is a controversial figure at best. Popular, yeah, but popular on social media, and that is never a type of fame that particularly has no sort of drawbacks to it. TBD is actually pretty fine. The one who flew under the radar publicly the most, yeah, TBD is good. Focused on the task at hand, the one who is most suited to saving people in this situation and doesn't really go beyond that. That's what things are going to be portrayed as in this moment. With Ring Bear specifically being one who is fighting these images, yeah, people start bringing up broadcasts of Ring Bear beforehand doing the sort of very violent attacks on Storm Chaser, but also the fight outside of the bank, right? And the speech that was given to the cameras there. People all around the world are discussing that. Those two things compared. The speech that Ring Bear gave from the hero complex in the aftermath of all these fights. These things are going to be compared and analyzed for months, if not years, in this world because, wow, no one's ever really going to have the full story on exactly what happened. But what people see in this moment, beyond all of Network's strange things that are going on, is they see a monster in the sky, and they see people who are fighting it. So with that, we zoom back in. TBD, the log starts lifting up, and it starts to approach Ghostlight, going slowly, going carefully. You are, I imagine, trying to make yourself as little of an intimidating presence as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And the lights don't really seem to have that much impact on you.
Cool.
But things aren't over quite yet. Of course.
Okay. Okay.
This cannot be that easy, though maybe easy is the wrong word for what this has been. Umbra, through all of this, the pull that you've been experiencing from the other side of this Shadow Realm veil that you have been jumping back and forth between for a month now, it gets stronger, right? The spirits start getting pulled backwards, not in a literal sense into you, but pulled backwards through this veil into the underworld. That might not be surprising. I think that's something that you probably knew was going to happen as well.
Yeah, he has a sense that, like, he has probably pushed a little bit too far here.
Now, Skyen, do you care really quick to fully explain to everybody listening what exactly happens when you reach the end of your Doom track?
Oh, nothing. It's fine. Everything's cool. I retire to a nice little cabin with a dog, and I live happy. No, as the sheet says, the doomed is in some kind of situation that is going to end inevitably with them perishing. So, and not necessarily dying as such, but certainly a doom is going to come upon them. There's going to be a price to pay for their powers. That's why the doomed archetype is so powerful. It gets to do so many things because at some point, all of those costs are going to mount up and the doomed is going to face their doom. In this instance, Umbra has stolen quite literally a bunch of Ereshkigal's power to do this, and I don't imagine that Ereshkigal is particularly pleased with him for doing that.
Correct. You feel a presence grabbing not just the spirits that you have pulled into this realm, but you as well. Ereshkigal has finally taken her gaze away from the rewritten that you have brought her in the form of Network, and seen what exactly that you are doing. And you recall a message that she gave to you, and I believe TBD as well, while you were exploring the Shadow Realm with Captain Kraken, right? This message echoes in your head once again, not just your own memory, but as if she is literally saying this to you, once again bringing that up in your mind. With an almost scared tone, as best this communication can have tone. You're reminded of the phrase, "They will notice." And as if trying to pull your power away out of sight of something, you feel all of your shadow and all of your essence being dragged back, not just through the Shadow Realm, but all the way back down, 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 deep enough that you will not be able to claw your way back out of that very soon. And this does mean, not just for the sake of Tom, but remember, it is Tom's power that is keeping Ghostlight's fear loop from reactivating. And if all the spirits of Seattle suddenly go away while the threat is ongoing, that might even make it worse. So something needs to be done to prevent that.
Well, Danny has a definitive solution, but if anyone wants to get out of here with Mason, they should have an idea first.
I have an idea.
You have an idea? You are the closest to Mason if that changes anything.
I am... Do I sense... So you said my powers were kind of setting off little alarms, but I couldn't really tell what. I guess I should ask first, just visual-wise. When you say that Umbra's essence is being pulled into the underworld, is that literal? Like, has he been sucked into the ground? Or is that more of like a tugging?
He's in the, like, I think visually it's that, like, tendrils and hands are, like, reaching out of the shadows and grabbing onto him and pulling him down. And he's struggling against it, but he's going.
Yes.
Okay. If he goes, this whole plan falls apart. And I would argue that everyone's lives are in danger if that happens.
Definitely.
I think I'm going to use my moment of truth.
This would be a good time to use a moment of truth. What are you thinking?
So I can do anything, basically. I'm going to get a little crazy. And if this isn't entirely lore accurate, please forgive me. Just consider it thematic.
Okay. I'm terrified. What are you thinking?
I activate my powers. I unleash my powers. It's been established that I have this sense of danger now, this duty calls thing where I can tell if people need help, even if I'm not there. Talk about alarm bells. Everything's going wrong all of a sudden. I'm going to describe how TBD sees this. I think precariously walking on this log in the sky, suddenly, like some domain expansion bullshit, just boom, I am in a different, what seems to be a different plane of existence that is just nothing but like iridescent light. And it's quiet. And I could tell that Tom was in danger. And I look around and it's empty everywhere. I turn around to where I knew Tom was whenever I was in a normal place. And I think I see some type of shadowy mass intruding on this space a little bit. And I would approach it, just walking towards it. And I assume I see Tom there. And I think as I approach, I can see like a cyst or a tumor, this shadowy void, blackness pressing against the iridescence but never touching. And I see Tom, and I would love to ask Skyen what Tom kind of looks like right now.
I think in this moment, you see him without the suit. It's just him, like, holding on to like holding on to shadows as though he's trying to like keep them open, and slowly sinking into them as like time, as it were, passes in this in-between space.
I rush in. I don't know if I can enter the shadow section of this. I shout out, Tom, are you okay?
Yeah, no, everything's cool, dude. Just keep going. I think I made her a little mad.
Yeah, no kidding. Deal with a death god wasn't one of your brightest ideas, dude.
Not on purpose, but, you know.
Tom, if you go down, this whole plan goes down.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I was ever expecting to walk out of this entirely alive.
Yeah. Listen, Tom, you told me back at the fireplace, back on the island, that if it meant ending this, you would pay whatever the price was. You still believe that?
Yeah. Man, listen, dude, you don't... When I got my powers, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, right? I've been... And there's like a look that comes... I've been running away from everything, man. I ran away... I came to Seattle because I was running away from, like... My dad and my mom, they broke up, and their shitty boyfriend, and he wanted to help me so much, and I couldn't live up. I've been running away from everything, man. And I felt so fucking alone until I ran into you guys, like Rebecca and Ring Bear and like you. Like, you're just some stupid fucking kid like me, and like, you were still going out there. You didn't have shadow powers. You just like waved your hands and bullshit happened.
Yeah.
You guys were the first time I didn't feel alone for like 10 years, and listen, this is whatever the price the fuck they used to pay, it's gonna be worth it, because like, we fucked this shit up bad, man. I took the money from Network because I thought that was gonna help solve my problems. We fucked this up. Someone's gonna have to pay for it, and you know what? Fucking might as well be me.
Well, Tom, you're right. The bill is here, and it's a lot more expensive than we thought. Somebody's got to pay the tab, but I'm not gonna let you fucking take all the glory, man. Come on. I think if the two of us scrounge up everything we have, and I mean everything, I think we can write that check. I think it'll cash. What do you say? You want to split the bill?
Oh, motherfucker, you know we're both broke, but yeah, sure.
And if I'm able, Matt, you know the lore more than I do, I would love to reach a hand into the shadow out to Tom.
Right. I can describe this. I know how this would be for the lore, but just to be clear, I should double check something with the mechanics. If I'm understanding and tracking things correctly, which I believe I have been, using this ability, using this moment of truth like this will cause you, TBD, to mark the final stage of your Doomed track.
As a part of the Doom playbook, when you use your moment of truth, you mark your Doom track. And by doing this, I will be marking my last one.
Right. TBD, the beacon in a metaphorical sense, but in a mechanical sense, never been one since the start, is going to mark the last phase of his Doom track as well.
Now, I reach a hand out to Tom.
The way that
Tom,
TBD's powers work. Go ahead with what you were going to say first. Yeah.
Like, and Tom, like, still like grasping onto shadows, like lurches both of his arms forward and grab like TBD on like the hand and like the forearm.
Mm-hmm. One of these bad boys.
You have seen people get powers. You have seen TBD's powers. And I'm sure some of you in the audience have started to come up with some connections between these two things. To become a rewritten, which is what people who get powers from the catalyst in this universe are called, you die. You die, something changes, and then you're not dead anymore and you have superpowers. The timeline is altered for your life. And TBD, his powers save other people by expending that energy, right? When he saved Nikki, the way he did that was by taking that same energy that gives people powers and shooting some of his own into the air, which then gave Nikki the powers and saved stuff. He is basically, as he's been this whole series, a superpower generator. But in this universe, that's not something that can run forever. And to do this, TBD, you can extend the lives and existences of people who are out there, but right now, to do that, you're going to have to extend the existences of all the spirits who are currently being pulled from the underworld into the real world. That is fully within your power set. They are alive, as it were. They are alive in reality, and you can extend all those existences for long enough that somebody can stop Ghostlight and get that fear loop done. But you have a finite pool of energy, and it's not going to have anything left in it if you do that.
And I'm willing to pay that price.
All right.
And I think
I'll pass it to you to describe.
I think we come out of this sort of weird ethereal scene where Tom and Taylor join hands. And we come back to reality in a sense. And nothing really changes. Aside from threads, thousands of threads of iridescent light start floating out and away from TVD as if thousands of hands are pulling thousands of strings on the sweater that is my existence. And I, using what little time I have to maintain all of this, would like to approach Mason, reach into my little chest pocket, and hold the smelling salt under his nose.
You hold up the smelling salts. A very, very important item to this campaign that, once again, I will remind everyone, genuinely not an aspect that I added. One of the best narrative coincidences to ever happen in the history of D&Dorks. When you hold this up to him, he shrieks. You have never heard Ghostlight make sound before. But it is also a thing that you're not supposed to wake up people who are sleepwalking, right? And whatever he's experiencing right now, it is not very good. And his form starts to jolt and shudder and shake even more as whatever vision he is having loses its grip on him, and he is thrust back into reality through the very mundane thing that counteracts his powers. The lights around start to glow brighter and brighter and brighter as his powers lose hold. And then, with a flash, they go away. Everything for everyone, really, across the city seems to go dark for a second. Not because anything has actually been darkened, but the massive glow that has been bathing the city is gone. It takes everyone a moment for their eyes to adjust. But as their eyes adjust, Mason starts falling out of the sky. Somebody's going to catch him. I think if Ring Bear doesn't, Nikki will, just whoever's closest, either have the ability to do so. So somebody catches him. But, once again, as this light is clearing, TBD isn't looking the exact same as he did when the light was active. Once again, I'll toss it back to Nathan.
Yeah. I think I slowly walk back, surprisingly calm, I think. And I am looking a little, maybe translucent, as these threads that are being pulled and redirected to all these spirits are pulling me away. And I think as I kind of walk back to the rooftop, you can see me changing as I get closer. I think my body starts to bruise all over. I think I get a nosebleed and an explosive headache. And I think through the cut-off sleeve of his little cargo jacket, you see a bullet hole wound reopen that wasn't there before. The one that was meant for Nikki all the way back at the start of the campaign. And I come back to the roof. Hero. And fade into nothing.
As the last vestiges of this energy flow out from you, Nikki, who has been jumping around this roof trying to catch anybody who's been falling or at risk, catching Mason if needed, suddenly jumps out of a portal like she can now do and flies through the air, stretching out a hand to you. But right as she gets there, the last bits of energy vanish and your body dissipates and she flies right through.
Oh, man. Why do I do this to myself?
Tom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while the sacrifices that were made were not for nothing, and the threat has been diminished, Ereshkigal's hold on you is not stopped by TBD's sacrifice. And especially now that the spirits of the people are no longer needed to be maintained, her full attention is brought back to you. And
Yeah,
the
and I
pull on
think,
you
like,
down into the
literally-
earth magnifies tremendously.
Yeah, and I think Tom is also gonna let go of all the portals he's been holding open because it's over now, and he's gonna see TBD like vanish, and with the last moments before he goes away, he'll look around to everyone. Listen, if there's anything I've learned from all of this, is none of us are ever gonna be alone in the dark. I'll see you. And poof, slurp into a shadow portal, gone.
And with that, Mason is awake, but he's not speaking. He's clearly in some sort of shock. It's going to be a while before he responds to anything, but he is conscious, and that's what matters. There are no more lights in the sky. Only a couple of the remaining people are still on this roof. And from a phone discarded, actually probably TBD's phone, fallen to the ground after his body dissipated, you hear the crackling, distorted voice of Network say one final piece to whoever is listening, which may be no one, but if only for him, he wants to get the last word in this conflict. He says to all of you whether you choose to hear it or not. Well, I suppose you were right. There really was only one way that this ever could have ended. I used to work with criminals, politicians, businessmen, bad people. I figured I had enough power to try and pull the strings on good people this time. Bad call. But I suppose it was a damn good show. Next time it'll be better. And the phone cuts out. Conflict is over. For the two remaining party members, I ask a final time, how are you feeling?
Not great, man. I think if Nikki's on the roof, Rebecca's gonna be right there, just holding her.
She's not
It
saying
works.
anything. She would be in shock even if she was used to this. She's not used to this. This is the first time she's ever been in the thick of one of these conflicts, despite hearing you talk about them excitedly even for months. From her perspective, this was, even though Network was scary, something fun that you enjoyed, and then she got here and oh my god. So she's in as much shock as Mason is right now.
Yeah. No words, just holding her. That's all I got.
What about Danny?
Danny doesn't really have words either. Two of her team are gone. Mason's here, but she can't deal with anything at the moment. Doesn't feel like she accomplished anything. She's just frustrated. Takes off her mask, whips it to the ground, starts walking away.
Wonderland, the least sad out of everybody, as she didn't know you guys nearly as long. Even she gets the sense of the emotional impact of what happened. She kind of walks up to both of you two as Ring Bear is walking away and goes, you guys take some time to process. I'm good at clearing collateral damage because I can move stuff. I'll go take care of anybody who's still in danger down there from buildings or cars or whatever. You guys take some time. And then she jumps down. She can catch herself going off a building with her power. So she goes to handle that so that the population is going to be safe from any other things and you guys can take the time that you need.
I know none of us are good, Danny, but are you good? Do you need anything right now?
I'm not good, but that's okay.
All right, come here. I can hug two people at once. Get here. Come here. All I got.
Sure.
It's all we got.
And the scene zooms out. We see Wonderland sliding down the building, going to help. And the three remaining heroes at the top, sitting together. As the sky, remarkably calm after the storm and the ghosts. Everything looks normal. The scene fades, with the conflict concluded, and power play, as a show and as a campaign, done. At least for now. But that's not entirely where we're going to leave our story off, because we are going to see the aftermath of this, of course. We're going to time skip a little bit, right? We're going to time skip, actually a good chunk of time. We're going to go forward about a year. I'm very curious. And I did ask you guys in advance to prep this for the audience's sake. I did not just spring this on them. They didn't know how things were going to end, but I warned them to have a time skip thing in mind. Goo Girl and Ring Bear, or in that case, maybe those code names aren't what you're going by anymore. It's a year out. The landscape of superhero things in the world has changed a little bit. Power play is done, obviously. Network has not again shown his face physically or digitally wherever he is. Apparently still somewhere, but it is not known. He is widely seen as a supervillain, of course. As more and more things have come out, more of his crew have also stepped forward and talked about things that he has done and sketchy things that they saw. So his reputation is pretty firmly cemented as villainous, which I'm sure everybody will be happy to hear. Superheroes have showed up more and more and more. This was not a phenomenon that was localized to Seattle. It was never a phenomenon that was localized there. There were people who were brought in from other places. Remember, Storm Chaser was brought in from Oklahoma for the show. And more have started to show up over the coming months, right? Government responses have been mixed to things, right? There are things happening in the background that are mysterious. The professor resigned from the university. She went off to do something else. No one, well, unless you guys specifically want to go and try and look for her, I'll say no one in the public knows entirely what, but she has gone off to do something else after the superheroic things that have been going on. The public, as for their part in seeing superheroes, mixed. Even more so than it was with Power Play, right? It was very, very, very positive at the start. And there are still a lot of people that see superheroes very positively. The fact that Network was so proven to be villainous, right? It was clear, at least to everybody, that he was manipulating you guys, and from the final scene with Ghostlight, it's decently well accepted that that superheroes on the whole are a good thing, right? This is not a Spider-Man is a menace situation. People generally like it. But the attitude has become even more mysterious. Despite time having passed, no information about what exactly the catalyst was has been found, or at least if it has been found, it has not been released to the public. And with the first superhero incident being revealed to have been so obfuscated with media and mystery and all that stuff, nobody knows what's going on, and the year is marked with just total uncertainty in every area. There's a god in the sky, and it died, and for the next 2 months, everything that happened was a lie. But people like superheroes because superheroes are cool. And they're out there saving people in some capacity. So with that as the context of the world of Anti-Cosmic in 2026, We'll start. Well, I guess I'll leave it to you guys. Which do you want to? Do one of you feel more ready to go ahead?
If you need time, Jess, I'm ready to go, but I'm also chill with any order.
Yeah, I think go for it. I think I also know what I'm going for, but you spoke first, so take it if you want it.
We'll start with Danny.
Okay. A bank in Seattle is under siege by some very cartoonish looking robbers. This is Robbie Bobby's Mobbery and Robbery's first gig. And it's going so well. They open the door to find a masked figure. Not Ring Bear, but recognizable to the viewer as Danny LaCourse. This was an irresponsible decision. With the greatest of ease you could ask for, Danny brutalizes these cartoon robbers. She bloodies sort of marble lions with their skulls. She throws them through windows. She is fighting not as a wrestler, but as a warning. Adorned with gate-like designs all over her new gear with no clown or circus reference in sight. With a new, more fearsome, more realistically bear-like mask. This is not Ring Bear number 6. This is Ursa Max, Scourge of Seattle.
Oh.
To the audience, I was not aware of that name beforehand. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
This
Ursa
session,
Max.
I was brainstorming during the combat.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, good shit.
Scourge.
Also known as Gate Master Grizzly. Or
Both
perhaps
good.
the Grizzly Gate. The Grizzly Gate, that's what I'm landing on.
Mm.
All right. A dark turn for Danny, but a very interesting one, a good one. The good heel turn that you wanted, I think. The flip from more cartoonish to full-on anti-hero. I love that, because we have the cartoon violence angle. It still works with the power gimmick. Cool. Very cool. All right, is that all you want to do for your thing? That's a kick-ass scene. Cool. All right, we'll bounce over to Goo Girl. Pun not
so I
intended,
think-
but accepted.
Very good, actually. I think on the flip side, if you opened your phone and went to Goo Girl's page on TikTok, where you used to see weird POV cam of Goo Girl kicking ass and fighting people and hunting down criminals, instead you see a little more planned out content, right? And maybe it's not as popular. Maybe her follower count is notably a little smaller than it was. I mean, she's not lost too many, because apparently losing followers is impossible. I've seen some of the things people have gotten away with, but she's definitely not grown in a year. And her videos instead are her, trying to give advice to new superheroes, and maybe some of it's not great. Maybe there's a few apology videos in there, but then also focusing on people helping with the cleanup effort and showing what works and what doesn't, talking to civilians and citizens more. She's still out there fighting the good fight, but she's not showing the dangerous stuff. She's not showing the flashy things that are kind of irresponsible to live stream and put on television. She's trying to do it right this time and not just jump right into it. She gave herself a platform that she wasn't ready for, and there's been a whole year, which is a long time to grow. And she's not doing it perfect now, but she's trying. Also, notably, how you go on TikTok and it says something like, you have it might say like Pirate Princess Jess, and under the name you can have it say whatever you want. On mine, I think it says Jessica. On Goo Girls, it used to just say Goo Girl, and I think now it says Rebecca Ray. Full name, mask off, full consequences, full responsibility, ownership of all of her actions.
I like it. I like it. And as for NPCs, we'll cover them as well. Wonderland, least affected by this on an emotional level once again. I do think that the interactions that she has had with Danny and Rebecca, like, she's not they have affected her a little bit. She's not robbing banks and stuff, but she is taking the excitement angle of superheroing, maybe like not to the same extent, but I think she's maybe stepped a little bit into the role that Goo Girl had, where she's doing this very big, very flashy stuff. She's a superhero, but she is the superhero that you kind of see her coming and you're like, oh shit, things are going to be saved, but there's going to be a lot of collateral damage that comes along with that. I think if, even though the ideals are a little bit opposed, if Rebecca's still open to a friendship there, she absolutely is. And maybe you'll be a better influence on her for that.
She's trying.
Yeah. She's still active. She is, maybe not to full anti-hero levels, but definitely a reckless hero, right? Ignition Girl has also not been seen publicly. She has not been a superhero in the same sort of identity that you guys have seen. But there are reports of somebody out there, not in Seattle, sort of traveling around a little bit. But there are reports of fires and things, but not as much in a random sense, not as much as in an aggressive sense. Like, there have been scenes of, like, assaults or abuse cases or things, and sometimes the homes or places of those bad people just go up in flames. So, she's doing things. She's doing things in her own way. Captain Kraken, he's gone. There are rumors up north of a strange fish man that lives out on an island, you know, in a small town up a couple 100 miles in Canada. Maybe not 100 miles, whatever. But up a bit in Canada. Like, that's a ghost story that some fishermen tell their grandkids of this giant purple man that lives out on an island that they swore they saw when they were on a late night fishing trip. But he seems to be living his life, right? But there is one more character that we will zoom in on for a final scene here, and that is, of course, Nikki. Nikki being very, very, very affected by all the things that have been going on. Losing Taylor, gaining powers, and then immediately losing Taylor from that. Is getting, like, she stays being a superhero, right? She has the suit, she has the identity of Fastlane, she's not going to give that up. I think she does spend a lot of time in Seattle, but her powers allow her to be very mobile, so she moves around as well. And the last scene that we are going to zoom in on is one that's going to happen in Texas, right? As Nikki is just jumping around the country doing superhero stuff roughly a year later, we'll zoom in on Fastlane, fighting a bunch of criminals in a warehouse. You know who they are, maybe some drug dealers or whatever. It doesn't seem like a supervillain. Doesn't seem like anything super remarkable. But she's jumping around doing her little portal thing, beating those people up. But then, one of them moves in an unexpected way. She comes out of a portal, she kind of hits them awkwardly, stumbles to the ground. And as she's slowly picking herself up, this guy raises a gun to point it at her. And suddenly, he and the other criminals and Nikki and everyone in this room are thrown backwards by a massive, massive noise. The loudest sound you've ever heard in your life. This reverb echoing through this warehouse where the fight is taking place. Windows shattering, ears ringing in the aftermath. But as Nikki kind of picks herself up from the ground, she sees a metallic purple figure jump through one of the shadow windows, kind of clank to the ground in front of her, look up a little bit, look around and goes, oh shit. Ooh, I kind of overshot that. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this. And she reaches out a hand to Nikki to help her up. And even though you can barely hear it through the ringing of the ears, as this figure pulls Fastlane up from the ground, she waves with her other hand, goes, sorry, I can't really control the angle of those shots yet. I'm encore. And with that, that is the end. That is the end of Power Play. We will talk a lot in the after show. I'm sure this is going to be a very big one, but to not keep everything there, just real quick, what did you guys think? It's done. 10 episodes. My favorite campaign we've ever done by
This
a
is
long
also my
shot.
favorite campaign we've ever done.
Yeah, 100%.
This is some of the most fun
Yeah.
I've ever had role playing anything. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a player, for sure, this is my favorite one I've played in.
This is the one
Sorry to all
I've
the symmetry lovers out there. But,
I've been itching for a heel turn. I'm so glad I got to do it.
I'm honored. I'm so glad that you guys all had fun. It was great to bring you guys into this world that I've been working on and have you guys contribute to it. and I am very excited to see where it goes next, because the storyline of Anti-Cosmic is only just beginning. Thank you all in the audience for watching Power Play. Thank you for being a fan of the D&Dorks. D&Dorks is not done either. We will see you guys with more projects coming very, 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 very soon. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Then Network offered us this huge deal, and we thought he was super cool.
But it turns out he was a total psychopath.
And he was the one plotting the villain attacks.
Not all of them, though. There was a lot going on.
Right. He was behind the fish guy and the storm guy. Did he call the storm guy both times?
Oh, probably. He did the second time for sure.
Wait, the storm guy was after Wonderland, right?
No. It was before. I think. Oh, yeah, no, it was before because...
Yeah, because that's when Ring Bear gave the speech.
Right. Oh, shit, man. She was so cool.
Yeah, but anyway, so he calls the lightning guy the second time.
Google totally kicked his ass.
Totally kicked his ass. Tom, you went to go get Network.
Yeah, and we killed him. Well, we tried to kill him, but it didn't work. And then Ghostlight got drugged and started doing... What was his thing?
I don't know, nightmares, I think?
Yeah, nightmares. So I opened the portal and summoned the dead.
And then I used the rest of my power from the god thing and ended up here.
Okay, so you got powers from what the humans are calling the Catalyst? Stupid fucking name.
Why'd you say it like that? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, kid, I know it. You could say I dealt with it before. That thing was a fucking warning sign. And if some stupid human killed it, that means we have a lot of shit to prepare for. So congratulations, two of you. You're not going to your final resting places quite yet.